Marty McFly, a 17-year-old high school student, is accidentally sent 30 years into the past in a time-traveling DeLorean invented by his close friend, the maverick scientist Doc Brown. Boys, girls, etc. This week, say hello to my little film, Back to the Future.
Okay. Do you want to play rough? Okay. Uno. Say hello to my little
Film.
Hello.
Oh, film.
Hello.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
Hey, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to Say Hello to My Little Film. This is the podcast where we talk about the movies that you've just got to see.
I was going to do the intro.
We never discussed this. We literally never discussed this.
You're right. I'm going to let it slide.
Thanks.
So, as you were saying, go ahead.
This is the podcast where we talk about movies that you just got to see.
You have to see.
My name's Ariel.
And I'm Ryan. And today is a little special.
Today is a full moon. I'm
Yep.
just kidding. Hey, did you go to Area 51 earlier?
Yeah.
That's why it's a special day. Because everybody on the internet was in New Mexico this morning.
Is that why it's special?
And you're a year older.
Mm-hmm. I did have a birthday.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
You've
Ariel.
done it.
I did it. You were a little goofball.
Yeah. Oh, a little nincompoop.
So, we watched Back to the Future.
This week we decided to watch Back to the Future.
Yes, we did. And we watched it with some friends.
I feel like there was something else that we had to.
Something else we had to say?
Yeah.
Wait,
Some housekeeping.
we're not alone.
What?
I think
I hear someone
I think
mouthing
see-
something.
It looks like he's saying, what is that? What is that noise?
I don't like that.
I don't know. I
at
think
all.
we should run away
Oh.
from it.
Oh, look, it's our friends, Ariel. It's Casey and Jesse.
Yo, what's up?
So big
So,
announcement. We
yes.
decided that we suck ass by ourselves, kind of. But we, in that vein, decided that we wanted to have more people on the podcast. And so Casey and Jesse are our best friends. They're going to be not guests. They're actual co-hosts with us.
Permanent Family Edition.
Permanent
We'll
guests.
see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Contracts have been signed.
I like that too.
We didn't do
Yeah.
any paperwork yet, so it's not really like
It's
official.
an unpaid position.
But we're interns right now, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know. Should we do like intro at all? I mean, like tell us a little about yourself.
Ugh. Do you want to do
I'll
that?
toss around a ball, and if you catch it, you have to say a fact about yourself.
Jesus.
2 truths and a lie.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it. I dare you.
I mean, whatever you guys want to say.
I am throwing the ball over to you. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm Casey. I have known Ariel and Ryan since high school. I was Ariel's roommate in college.
Whoop.
And I have been with Jesse, the other gentleman, for 10 years, and we are also married.
2 married couples.
I was there on
That's
their first
right.
date.
Oh my God, you were. I brought SpaghettiOs with meatballs.
I ate them.
Do you remember that? Yeah, because she doesn't like red meat. Who would have thought? I did not. I was not keyed into that information
Didn't
before
we
I
meet
showed
up with someone at some point at a pizza place?
Yes, we
Okay,
did.
I don't want to say their name just in case they want to remain anonymous.
It's anonymity, please.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a great night. What a great night.
Both were there for our engagement.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
There was also something pivotal before that in the dorm that me and Ryan were there for that Jesse was really annoyed at.
Yes, exactly.
Which was mentioned in a previous episode.
The prank calls. Remember we used a soundboard?
Oh, yeah.
That
I was
was
like, what the
great.
fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah. So I was the one that was home alone on the couch
Trying to watch Adult Swim.
receiving phone calls from this girl that I was really into, and it was just a soundboard of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I remember being like,
But it was good, though.
It was a good soundboard, of
It
course.
got you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely thought it was him.
Yeah, it sounded totally authentic.
Totally thought it was him.
I remember being
sure.
like, Casey,
I
if
am
he's
Quaid.
getting annoyed at you, like, you should not date him.
She didn't take your advice.
And here we are.
And here we are.
So,
And great. All right, Jesse, is that a good enough intro for you? You
Yeah,
you have anything you want to say?
I was brought into this whole thing by Casey
Yep.
through Facebook Messenger. That's how I
Aw.
kind of got involved. Was through Facebook, basically. The internet screwed us all, but I'm happy about it.
okay.
That's the end
Cool.
of that.
All right.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Picture perfect.
Now here's where we try
I'm
to talk
Ariel.
about the movie.
Oh.
Ariel, we already did this.
Like I was going to do an intro also.
Oh, do you want to do it?
No.
Go ahead. I
No,
toss
do
the
it.
ball to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Under no circumstances.
Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit. Fuck that. I can't believe y'all did it. All right. So
new.
what did we watch? We watched Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now, how do we get into this?
Well, I feel like in our old episodes, holy shit, that handwriting is neat.
Yep.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh my God, it's like
It's really
tiny.
It's a curse.
It's not cursive.
It's tiny and it's really in line with everything. I have a slight
How long
OCD
does that take
about
you?
not long.
Does
Quick.
it bug you that the first letters aren't a perfect straight line?
It bugs
It kind
me.
of a little
It
bit.
bugs me a little bit too
I
was- it
because
was
it's
dark.
so obviously aligned.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
You
this.
see what I'm
but this
saying?
Sway a little bit.
Yeah.
Excellent banter
Perfect
for an
for
audio podcast.
Indeed.
So guys, we'll take pictures of this and post it.
Yeah.
Put it on the
have to.
Instagram,
Yeah,
which you
have
know
to.
that we definitely will not.
No, we won't.
Because the Instagram is very lazily managed. But thanks for hanging in there, and hopefully we'll become a bit more regular with this new edition. These editions, we'll be able to be a little bit more regular with the releases of the episodes and
Absolutely.
a schedule of some sort. So
100%.
up next on the roster, after not this coming up episode, but the one after, not this one, but and not the next one, but the one after, we'll be getting into like some spooky episodes. Spooky! So I'm super
Okay.
stoked on that.
Yes.
I'm scared
Just
already.
wanted to say that, even though it's inappropriate at this time. Okay. I don't really know how to. Let's just jump into it.
This movie's budget.
Oh, yeah, talk
this
to
is
us
your
about some
edition. You're
facts.
going to bring some facts to us.
Jesse's the
Yeah.
fact man.
Which is good. We
Fact.
people are upset because I'm constantly saying Steven Spielberg directed movies that he just produced, and
well,
all
it's
kinds of-
confusing when it's like he presents. I'm like, what does that mean? Is that always a producer? If Steven Spielberg presents,
Yeah,
because
I
he
don't know.
presents a lot of movies.
Yeah,
that
I think they
we've
just show it
watched.
at his house first. I think that's kind of how they like.
Or
I
it's
think he
just like
boxes it
Is
and
it
puts a nice bow on it
Right.
before he gives it to the
Yes.
to
is
It's a
it
present.
production
a
company.
present to
Steven Spielberg presents.
Yes.
He's
I don't think you're reading it way wrong.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I thought it was a verb that was a noun this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have known.
All right, actually, no, I like what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Budget.
Fact us up.
You got director.
Just fact
No,
this
hell
shit
no.
up.
Here's
It's
the thing.
presented by Steven Spielberg.
It is. It's
presented by Steven Spielberg.
Presented by Steven Spielberg. 1985. This came out.
That's good to know.
Is that
because
shocking or no?
No,
That's
it's
exactly
weird
right.
because he was very busy in 1985.
Oh yeah, he's
That's
the
like
man.
the Goonies and Gremlins, I think maybe that was 86, but it still was like obviously was in production.
The 80s.
It was in the 80s.
Fucking A, they
Yeah.
were really
Ow!
busy. Great.
That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
Cool. It's gonna be
So budget $19 million was the budget of this movie,
But
which seems like
no,
super
translate
low.
that to today.
fun. I was gonna say, put
Yeah,
that
yeah.
into context
that's
for
like
me.
$300 million.
But there's still movies today that are like
Way higher than that.
$6 million.
It's
though.
still relatively low.
Gigamillion.
Like Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite was probably like $50. Honestly, that they did not hire
It's
anybody. for
one
that
person's cell phone.
movie. Yeah, it was. But North American box office, it made $389.1 million.
Smash.
That is a smash hit. That's just the
Yeah.
box office. I'm pretty sure from what I gathered.
I love
on
these
this
facts.
film.
I love these facts.
Cool. Very diligently gathered.
I
yeah.
went to the official Wikipedia of Back to the Future, and that's what it said.
Did you
Box
donate?
office.
I was just gonna
I
say that.
did not. I did edit
What
some of the
what an
scenes.
asshole.
I went to the plot section and I edited a couple of the scenes.
Nice.
So technically, I should get a writing credit. Also.
Are there any other facts?
So that's pretty much the facts that I have
Cool.
so far. I just want to do I'm like a big numbers guy with the money. You know what I mean? I like
Yeah.
to find out how much they spent on it as
You
opposed
do
to
know
how
what he
much it
means?
made.
I do. He has $0.1 million in the bank right now.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right, so should we talk about like some of the lore behind this movie? Because I feel like there's so much hype around it.
Well, first of all, who hasn't seen it?
I have not.
before.
Ariel
Okay.
has not.
It was just for you, I think.
Hold on.
Oh.
I want to put this out there. I claim that I've never seen this movie because I've never
Dude, I'm in the same boat.
I've never
Similar-
sat
similar
down to
boat.
watch the movie.
Yeah, I've seen
But
I've seen it
As it was playing,
around.
I realized I've seen the entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
The
But
entire thing.
my eyeballs have seen every frame of the movie.
Yeah.
But I've never watched it in
All the way through.
consecutive order.
Right.
I
Yes.
thought this one had the shoes, And I was wrong.
The shoes and like the hover. That's probably the next
2. And Casey, I said that to Ariel while we were watching it. I was like, wait a minute. I keep confusing this with the second one because the town square stays the same.
Right. And he does the hoverboard through that exact town square that he later in this movie rides the skateboard through.
It's almost annoying how much of a ripoff the second movie is.
It's not really a
movie.
ripoff. They 100% did that on purpose.
Even the movie
totally.
covers. Did you look at them?
Yeah.
They're the
They're
same.
all,
They just like add one thing.
They just add a person.
And
or
also-
Is
cowboy
that
outfit.
awesome or is that lame?
It's
No, it's
awesome.
cool. It's
Okay.
cool.
And also, Back to the Future 2 came out 4 years after this one.
So they just immediately started working on it.
4 years.
Yeah.
How long does
years.
it
That's
take
a
to
long
make a
time.
movie? Oh,
Well,
okay.
because Back to the Future 3 came out 1 year after 2.
Yeah, but we have to wait a long time for like Avengers movies.
Because I don't think,
That's true. That's why I feel like they
Only
take
like
2
years.
Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah.
how long it takes to make a movie.
That's
Well,
them working
those movies-
immediately.
Do you
after.
think because the end of this movie, it was like really clear that there was going to be a sequel, or do you think that
Yeah,
was
they
just
set it
how,
up for that.
or do you think they just wrote it that way and just left the option?
I feel like they left the option because that could have
So they
ended
weren't
that way.
sure like this is
No.
going to be a trilogy.
No, movies like to do that. They like to go, hey, we got to finish this off.
Right.
Give us some more money.
I think a lot of
Without
movies
necessarily-
say like, hey, we could make another one
Yeah.
if it's liked well enough.
Right.
But I feel like that doesn't, like there are a lot of movies, especially nowadays, that are made just to be that movie by
Yeah, there's so
themselves.
many like shit movies with cliffhanger endings
Yeah.
that are like, they're setting up for a sequel that it just doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, like Return
Right.
of the King.
But it's a good way to hedge your bets because then you can go, well, this story isn't finished. Maybe someone down the line will get desperate and then fund your movie.
Right. In
Right.
30 years,
Right.
they'll come remake it and spin it around with different actors
Sure.
and all that stuff.
Or
Why
maybe
wouldn't
not
they
even
do
that long. I mean, I'm looking at you, Spider-Man.
Speaking, but also the Back to the Future 2 is the exact same scenario for me. I've seen the hoverboard scene.
Yeah.
I know that it's like his grandson who is played by Shaky Boy. What's his name?
Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox.
Shaky boy.
Yeah. He sat on the dryer a lot. when he was a
Obviously,
kid, and I
Ryan's
think
been
it-
watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Michael
Yeah,
J.
is he an
Fox.
asshole or is it Parkinson's? Yeah, so I have the same. So we will probably have to do Back to the Future 2 because you obviously haven't seen it.
Yeah, not even
Yeah.
a little. Like
Yeah.
this movie, there were parts that I like was coming back to me as I watched it. I was like, oh, like I remember that he kissed his mom.
Yeah, that's a big.
So like I obviously
Yeah.
that means I had
Hot.
seen it at some point.
Fuck yeah. Oh, did that pick up?
We'll get we'll get to that note later. But,
All right.
Wait, there's
go ahead.
lots of notes about that.
But
yeah.
like I do think that there is a specific like a cult following around this movie that
Oh yeah,
should we talk about that?
sure. Well,
I
this.
have nothing to say about it.
Okay, well,
Oh.
one interesting thing that I have culturally about the movie is this movie's script is considered a perfect script, and
I've
it's
heard
studied
that
in film
before.
schools.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Yeah,
I can
Yeah.
see that. That's what I was saying. Like
I
this
get
whole
why
movie is
it's
Why?
like
now.
Why can you see that?
I can see it now. I never could see it before.
I need
because this,
yeah.
like I said before, like this whole movie I've seen elsewhere without actually watching the movie. Like I've seen all the individual clips of this movie. I mean, I couldn't tell you when they were happening in the movie, but I've seen all of the stuff in the movie. So obviously, you shit the snake eye. Sorry.
What? Snake eyes?
Sorry. That's just a slight derailment.
I think either
am
he just saw me
bewildered.
eyeballing you
I
moving
did.
your microphone.
I did.
And I probably had a vicious look on my face.
That was stank
I
eyes,
did
what I
it.
said.
I did it so good. I did
you
it
did
really well.
You did really well. I was just worried that it was gonna tip over and explode or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And like fall outside of the studio.
Yeah,
fall
yeah.
into the beer.
Yes, exactly.
But it's the reason it's a perfect movie is because, at least from me watching it this time, is because they use every piece of the buffalo. They don't set up a single thing that doesn't pay off.
So everything comes full circle.
He plays guitar. He ends up inventing rock and roll. He you know
No
what I'm
big
saying?
deal.
He skateboards. It comes out like every single thing they set up gets knocked down later on. Even to the point where there's a fun little Easter egg where the movie takes place at Dual Pines Mall. What is it?
Two Pines, I
Two
think.
Pines Mall.
Yeah.
And then when it goes back in time and is in the DeLorean, he runs over a pine tree. And then when he goes back to the mall later on at the end of the movie, it's called Lone Pine
Yeah.
Mall.
Yeah.
They use
I
every.
didn't notice
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's fucking.
I did have that in here.
tight.
Like I loved all of the
The little things.
the little tiny things that they would say that like the mother saying it to her son, or when he runs out at the dinner and the dad says, "If you ever have a kid that turns out to act like that,"
or like
all those little
or
things.
in the it's just so tight.
Yeah.
It's just so tight, and there's even for a time travel movie to be that compact and like really, it's pretty bulletproof
Is this the
as far as
first?
time travel goes.
Is this the first good time travel movie?
I don't know if I would make that
Look,
claim.
think back into the depths of time.
I don't know every time travel
every
movie.
single movie.
No, you're just setting me up for some super nerd to like bitch at me on the internet.
So
yeah, it's the best one ever.
Dr. Kevorkian, number 3.
Excuse me, what about Time Traveler's Wife?
Yeah.
Okay, but
Come
that's
on.
the thing. Like, this movie has a lot of internet fame. It's almost like what I said before. Like, it's almost like a lore around
Well,
it. It's one of those movies that like has lived on, and I don't know. It just feels
got a cult following.
Yeah, I guess that's the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
was-
weird for being such a big movie, because usually cult followings are for
Or like little
smaller.
indie
Obscure
movies.
Yeah.
movies.
You're
yeah.
totally right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Windy
actually,
City
that's
Heat
kind of
and stuff like that.
that's kind of a like phenomenon of the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a
'Cause
cult following
Gremlins is like that
today.
too. People love Gremlins, and we were like,
Yeah,
this
that
is
movie
mediocre.
sucked.
I think that's actually kind of a problem.
You act like you
because-
bought it for one specific reason.
Yeah. A box set of like multiple movies.
What was I saying? It's
No
like
one
yeah, I can't remember. The cult following
But
thing.
it's a big movie, blockbuster film.
Yeah, but I think
80s thing.
it's a phenomenon of the 80s because for our generation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think there was a cult following in
Back then.
1987.
Oh, so when did it like begin?
Just like people in the 90s could give a shit about vinyl records, and now those are
Exactly.
coming back around. Older mediums
Right.
coming back around.
And it
stuff
has
like that.
just
Okay.
enough like iconic imagery, like the vest, the
You mean the lifesaver?
the DeLorean, the lifesaver. Yeah,
Or
the
the
life
life-
The
preserver.
life
yeah.
preserver. Yeah.
Yeah, the DeLorean obviously
Right.
is a big deal.
Right.
Doc is a fucking
I just feel like this
iconic
is
image
one of those
himself.
things. It's like there are these movies that exist, and obviously TV shows too. But like they are the movies that are cosplayed at cons, and this is one of those movies.
Halloween
like
parties,
Ghostbusters
cons,
is
yeah.
one. This is one, and I just don't know what the criteria is. I guess so.
I think if you have iconic images like that,
So
like
it's
things
about
that are
the
just
filmography,
kind of like
Okay.
it's like
because people don't cosplay as Jaws.
no, but there's nothing to cosplay as Jaws. That's my point.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah, I
If
can-
Jaws was in a sweater, then you could cosplay as Jaws.
I see what you mean. So you're
You know
saying
what
that
I'm
Marty
saying? Or
McFly is
if you
dressed
drove
as
a-
iconic,
drove a
and
spec- and-
Doc dresses iconic.
Yeah.
And the DeLorean is iconic.
Exactly.
Okay.
They set it up to be. They almost like fetishize the objects in the movie. They shoot the DeLorean like it's a fucking car commercial. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It looks badass as hell.
When they go
Were there
across the front
other-
and the logo on
I
the
know.
and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Were there
they
other
make
DeLoreans
a lot of points about his vest.
back then? Was that like a popular car?
No.
Did this movie put it on the map?
Yes.
I mean, I don't
But
think
you don't
anybody
see them
would
anymore,
know.
though, so it
No,
didn't do a very
didn't
good
matter.
job. Yeah.
It didn't, that the car was
But
whatever.
you could go up to somebody and say about a DeLorean,
And they know
they'll
what it
picture,
is. Yeah.
and they'll know
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah. I hadn't seen the movie, and I still pictured it.
I've seen Zero in real life.
Same.
but I
Actually,
can
no,
tell you-
that's not true. I saw one at like when I worked at a museum. We used to have these themed like science nights, and they would like have a theme like Halloween or Harry Potter or whatever. They did some 80s movie one, and so this guy had a state-of-the-art DeLorean that he made to be like the Back to the Future one.
Yeah, see,
pretty
every
cool.
DeLorean you see is a Back to the Future DeLorean.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So that's the only one I've ever seen, obviously. But okay, cool. Well, I mean, if everyone's seen it, then we don't really have to talk about what we thought the movie was going to be, because that's usually what we do next.
Yeah, because I would just tell you the plot of the movie.
Right.
Well, that's
and
what
I
we
pretty
should
much
do.
knew what it was, though.
So we should talk about the plot
Let's
of
talk
the
about the
movie.
plot.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. For people who haven't seen it yet, we're going to break it down, and then we're going to tell you if you actually have to or if you can let this one pass.
And then we'll rate it.
Yes.
So
That's right.
So the clock thing that Ariel was talking about earlier, the very opening. See, this is a good point about the movie. Also, it starts off in a very like goofy way. It's showing the clocks that are super goofy and weird.
Casey has
And
an
then he
opinion
has-
about that.
And one thing is there's a clock with a dude hanging from a
Clock.
from the actual clock. Yeah, from like the
Okay.
hand of the clock, which happens later on in the movie. So there's like some foreshadowing in that.
See, I'm afraid that there's more of that we don't know about.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think you'd have to have a second or third watching of that to pick up all that stuff. The Lone Pine thing I had
Or just
no idea about.
cheat and
just now.
YouTube it.
I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
like,
Oh my
look it
god!
up.
How dare you on a movie podcast?
Yeah. Ruin the integrity
This is
of
not a
this
YouTube
podcast.
podcast.
So what were your thoughts on the clock scene?
I don't
Casey?
know what came first, but I was very insulted because I thought it was a cheap ripoff of Pee-wee. Again, I don't know which came first, chicken or the egg.
Because it was the what is it? Goldberg machines?
Yeah, so we ran into that, I think maybe for the first time when we did the Goonies. They had them all over the place. They're like those like contraptions where it's like the thing rolls down and hits this, and then that sets off this, and then this happens, and then this. And Ryan's looking it up right now to figure out what that's called. But we made a note of that too. Like that is so prevalent in 80s movies, and then never again.
But I did not like this one. Like,
Why not?
Pee-wee's hits me in the right spot. This one I was
Sounds
just
sexy.
like very not interested in.
But by the way,
Hits
This
me
one-
right in the right spot.
That's what he said in that movie theater.
This
I think.
one was almost entirely for the dog.
And
That
what
wasn't
the
even there.
fuck, by the way?
there was burnt toast, which
Yes.
It's a Rube Goldberg machine.
yes,
Rube Goldberg.
That's what it is.
a
Okay.
Hugh Rube Goldberg.
What a rube.
Exactly. And so,
Rubik's Rube.
but it's like it's almost entirely for the dog, unless Doc just eats only toast.
I think he probably eats toast for breakfast.
That's it.
I mean, have you seen him?
I mean, do you
He's
need to
not
eat more
eating-
than that?
I feel like he's eating the toaster, to be honest,
Maybe.
with that hair.
Did it bug you guys how obvious this was like Rick and Morty?
So
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Ariel didn't really know.
No, I didn't know that was
That-
what
that's
this was supposed to be.
was
So I saw Rick and Morty first. So then, like when I made the connection, I was like, oh shit!
because he
And
was
his
like,
name
Doc.
is Marty.
He was like, Doc. He's like, Marty. Bleh. He basically burped, and I was Marty like, and she burped. was like, yeah, and she was like, oh,
Yeah,
So,
and then I was like, oh my god, he's a scientist. I get it. Like, and he even looks like him. Okay,
yep.
I felt really retarded after that, but
But he's not
it's
his
annoying.
grandfather.
Right. But I kept mixing that up.
Yeah, he's not his
Couple
grandfather.
times.
How did they become friends?
No
Okay.
one knows.
Okay,
Casey.
that's
Okay,
literally
but the
my
like vice principal guy knew
That he
of
hangs
him.
out with him.
Yes,
Yeah.
knew who this person was, and he was the same age in the 50s as he is in the 80s.
He was like the
well,
local pedophile.
kind of.
Who looks the exact same in 30 years?
Doc Brown.
And was in a mansion and obviously got more successful, but then lived in like a
Okay,
shack,
because
it looked
remember
like.
he said
He
that
wasted
when
his life's
he
fortune.
put his whole family fortune into the time machine.
See,
So
I might have been sleeping
Mm-hmm. Every
in that.
piece of the buffalo.
Yeah.
That's what I use it. I'm telling
That was
you.
like my first note is how did he get involved with him? Because there's no backstory in the original realm.
Yeah. I kind of
How do
love
they
that.
know each other?
I love that.
you don't need to know.
know. I love that you don't know.
Yeah. Not
Did people just not ask questions?
non-importante in
in
the
the
80s? Yeah, people were just like doing whatever. Like kids who were
Kids
like
were hanging out with creepy old men in their house.
kids who were
alone.
8 years old had house keys and didn't have any supervision. Like it
Yeah,
was
he's
a
a
crazy
high school
time.
kid, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 17.
Hanging out with like a 70-year-old man.
But like,
Maybe he like helps him because it seemed almost like an intern relationship.
Yeah, kind of.
So it could be that,
But you never get any like sign that Marty's smart.
or that he likes that he likes
Science or anything.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, he's late to school 4 days in a row, guys.
I guess you do see
that's
him.
not the
so
only
he's cool.
time inconsistency that we were going to discuss. Do you remember at the end when he comes back and it's like 10:30? It's 10:30, and if you remember, he went back. He must have gone back on a Friday because Biff was talking about how he likes to sleep in on Saturdays.
Yes.
So he went back on a Friday, and then like Doc set the time machine so that he would go back at the exact same time, even though he altered that to be 10 minutes before we know now. But anyway, so that means that he went back on a Friday night. So he woke up 10:30 on a Saturday, went downstairs, and his like brother was going to the office and hadn't left yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
We found a flaw in this.
And I was like, who goes
She
to the
was like-
office after 10:30?
And he's like a hardworking, good employee.
On a
and
Saturday.
It's 10:30. Yeah. And
And it was actually 10:28, guys.
I think it was
Okay.
10:27.
He had his alarm set
For
for
10:28.
10:28 when
No,
it
she
flipped
does that
over
kind
to
of
the
shit.
8.
I do that.
Same.
she doesn't do
Me too.
even or the 5 or 0. It has to end.
Right.
From
I think
a
I
5
got
to
it
0.
from one of my other friends because she said that
loco.
she hates the like evenness of, yeah.
I used
Ryan's
to
like,
be
set
like
the
that.
alarm for 6:15. I'm like 6:14.
Just to piss me off.
Got
just to
it.
spite me.
Nice.
We could at least do 6:17 to not screw him out of that extra minute.
Well, but he gets mad. No, he gets mad if I wake him up late. So
Well, I guess that makes sense.
he gets
Yep,
all day
I
mad.
got shit to do.
It all comes back around.
The intro with the clocks and everything is
Yes.
goofy, and that's what I'm saying. It kind of like puts a tone because it is a time travel movie,
It's
and
zany.
if you but I think that's a safety measure so that you don't go, wait, is he
So
giving
you-
that guy a 1962 quarter?
Yeah, wait.
You know what I
it's
mean? Like, is he ruining the
10:27 on
fabric?
a Saturday morning.
Yeah, and he's saying he would be fucking things up way more than he is.
Right.
And
he's
if
brilliant, but he's crazy.
And if his dad were to like change his life trajectory that much, they wouldn't buy the same house.
Yeah, because he
And,
does what
Right.
yeah.
and
Really,
I was
yeah.
saying when his brother starts fading back into the picture, he should have like 6 other brothers. Like his dad should become a stud.
Because
Yeah.
it is the
Because
exact
he
same.
did.
It's the exact same family.
Which would also mean he fucked
At the
at the
exact
same
same
time
time.
with the same sperm at the same angle Come on.
It describes a scenario where if on one night they kiss,
yeah.
the rest of the sequence of events
exactly
just
the
about their
same.
It
fucking,
implies that-
just about their fucking, because
Yeah.
obviously his life was
It
different.
implies that no matter what, because you can change everything,
Yeah.
but it implies that if you get someone pregnant in order, no matter what,
It's the same kid.
it's the same kid, which
Yeah.
is
Okay.
no.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah. I don't have any way to prove it,
Doc
though.
Brown,
Nope.
come on.
So they're kind of like, prove it, bitch.
Doc Brown, if you're out there, contact me, please.
Yeah, they didn't even have like good DNA testing back then,
Yeah.
so they don't know shit about that.
But it pans over the Rube Goldberg machine, and then it shows Marty walking up to like an amp, like a lot
I
of
haven't
goofy,
seen his face yet.
a lot of goofy electronics, and then it's a reveal that it's a giant speaker.
With
Amplifier?
the smallest guitar.
Yeah,
was a
what was
weirdly
that
small
about?
That was
guitar.
big LOLs.
That was nice.
Small guitar, big LOLs.
Coin
That's a
that.
shirt.
Yep.
And that's going to be available in our merch store.
Big LOLs on the back. Right. Yeah, that was. I've never so this scientist is either working on a time machine or the biggest guitar amp ever. That doesn't really add up to me.
See, okay, this is where I'm like, clearly Marty is helping him with this stuff. That
Right.
was not Doc Brown's idea.
Maybe.
It could have been Doc
Definitely
Brown's
not.
idea for him to play
No.
guitar, though.
But see, Marty doesn't need a bigger amp. He's already too loud for the high school band.
But that was in '55.
Yeah, but that's
Oh
also
no,
high school.
you're talking about when they. Yep.
85.
Which, by the way, they set up all that stuff. Normally, if you have a tryout like that, they already have equipment there for you. You don't have to have your drummer bring his entire drum set and set it up on the stage.
Marty, you're
Yeah.
late.
To play
Yeah.
for 25 seconds
Yeah,
and then
it's
be
not-
like,
they're
you're
not
too
playing a fucking
loud.
show.
Next whole entire band.
And by the way, you're too loud. It's a fucking amp.
Turn
right.
down
Turn
the
knob.
volume.
That's right.
By the way, fun fact about that scene is he's playing a song by Huey Lewis and the News. His bandmates in the band are the News, and the guy who says, "I'm sorry, son, but you're too loud," is Huey Lewis.
Oh my God, that's
That's
really
cool.
fun.
That's cool, right?
That's
I
really
like that.
fun.
All right,
I
that's
have
all my
my
fun
whole,
facts. I'm out.
My whole life, I have thought that it was Huey Lewis and the Blues. My whole life.
Okay. Yeah,
Yikes.
that makes sense.
So, because what is the news are people? What does
Yeah.
that mean?
It's
Oh.
the
Yeah.
news.
Oh,
No, they are
it's
new.
the newspaper.
It has nothing to do
Wait,
with
wait,
news.
wait,
They
wait,
are
wait,
new.
wait, wait. Do you think that all bands have to have what the objects are in the band?
Kevin and the what is it? Nose pickers.
Do you think Sting and the
Snots?
police is the entire?
They're the
police
police.
force?
The London Police Department and Sting.
Yeah.
No, but
The
they are
Cranberries.
the police department of that band.
Okay.
No, I get that. They all have badges.
No.
And stuff.
Totally.
Whatever.
Checks out. Checks
Yeah.
out.
Wow.
These guys are all newsies. They're all newsies. They're like,
What's a
you know,
newsie? I'm just saying the news. I thought it was like
They're just like, I don't even know if it's the news.
Okay,
Like you're
because
thinking of a newspaper.
that's- what else
if
could
it's-
it be?
What if it's just like the news?
Or
Yeah,
they
that's
are
what
we're,
they
new.
said, yeah.
we're the new guys.
Yeah.
that's
North,
just not
east,
good grammar.
West and South. They're from all over the country.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Yo,
my.
wait, are there 4 of
Wait
them?
a minute. Wait
I
a
literally
minute.
have no
that's
idea.
news to me. Hey, we're pounding around the table.
And
We're
that's
gonna
it.
pound.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we're not.
Film.
Actually, we could take a break
Let's take a quick break.
on that high note.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I guess that means we're back.
We back.
We back? Okay.
What up,
Cool.
Doubt? All right, so we've touched the first 2 minutes.
Gruel.
All right. Cool.
Gruel.
Gruel. Great.
I
And
send
cool.
it back.
Okay.
It was gruel. I sent it back.
That's right.
All right.
right.
But
So-
we were talking about just the very opening scene where
Uh-huh.
with the gigantic amp and the tiny guitar.
Yes.
And then-
which he proceeds to blow out
Just
Immediately.
in one
across
second.
the room.
Yeah.
And then he just is like, whoa.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? That's so you go because the rest of the movie's not that fucking goofy.
No,
The rest of the movie's
it's
not
a
like
little
that.
scary.
Yeah.
Like there's terrorists
There's
and
serious things at stake.
There is
Incest.
Libyan terrorists
Libyans
With rocket launchers.
with
Yeah,
a
what
rocket
the hell?
launcher.
in this tiny town of Stars Hollow.
So just another small, tiny, minuscule detail.
How small is
How
it?
did he know where the phone was when he gets blown across the room and everything just goes
Because he's
everywhere?
an intern.
But it's on the floor underneath a pile of trash. And
Well, I
he's
guess
like
he-
laying, he's literally laying right next to it. The phone rings and he pops up, throws the trash, and picks up.
He's a musician.
phone.
He has good ears.
Yeah, maybe
You're right.
Following his ears. Okay,
I
that's solved.
That was nitpicking
Next
to a level I
point.
was unaware. I was
Anyway.
unprepared for.
Yes, I have a note in here that says Marty's wandering eye. So let's
Ooh.
cut to when he leaves and he's like late for school. He's going to school.
Yeah.
But before we get to
so
his
he
wandering
doesn't get to
eye-
go into the high school band or to the.
Is that what he does right
it's
after?
like he's
I thought that was after school. First, he runs into like that principal guy.
Mr. Clean.
Oh yeah.
Mr.
What the
Clean.
fuck?
Yeah.
By the way, obligatory character for 80s
Yeah,
movies.
every single school.
Jesus.
Like Breakfast Club, every single school.
I have
That's
a hard
the only
time
example
going
I have.
like, oh, what a fucking cliche. But for the time, I have to remember that it was not as much. Maybe.
Yeah.
Also,
they started
Did
it.
our high school have that?
No. Our
You
high
were
school
friends. You were a
principal-
bad boy. You were friends with all the vice principals. They were like, "I'm gonna call your mom, boy," and you were like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I mean, one of our principals did just get arrested for the murder of his wife.
That's
So-
no big deal. I mean,
It's a little bit to the
He's a
extremes.
bad boy.
You're gonna have to tell me about that after this
I will.
podcast.
yeah.
What?
Off the
We
air.
don't want to dox anybody.
Well, he runs into his girlfriend on the front steps of the school, which
As
means
you
she
do.
was also
But
late
you have no idea that it's his girlfriend.
at that time, right? You
Yes.
could just think, hey, it's just a friend that really looks out for his ability to show up to school on time.
Marty's late again. Here, you're gonna get busted, dude. Come with me.
Yeah, come in the back
I'm
way.
not like a regular girl.
Right.
I'm a cool girl.
Come in the back way where we still run into the
Yes.
Baldy.
Yeah.
So I just screwed you.
Yeah.
And not in the good way.
Not yet.
Oh, whoa.
Woo. Which might explain the wandering eye, because that was really obvious, that scene where he like just straight
Yeah.
up checks him out, and she just is like,
Yeah, she's
And,
just like,
like-
you.
yeah.
She pulls
But
his
you know
face
what?
back.
My tits are here. Like
Right.
what?
I'm
Yeah,
still,
but their
like,
jazzercise butts are that
friends,
way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
It was weird.
That
I
big
mean,
of a deal?
I don't think it was. I think it played off
upset
of
for
like
her.
men are disgusting.
And like maybe
Yeah,
it's
but they
the
play it off like
charm.
it's like
Maybe
a cute thing.
Yeah,
like-
it's like the charm of teenage boys.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the line was like anything I want, and he like looks away over
You're
to
right.
it, and it was really weird.
Yeah.
And she was like, "I'm over here."
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah, but you want this.
I want these other two broads.
Yeah. Why have one when you can have those?
Yeah.
You know, that's what I pictured him saying.
And then there's the band practice after school,
Yes.
Oh, and then that's where he's doing
and he's
the-
still late to that, isn't
What
he?
is he? He's trying out for prom to play
To play at the
band.
dance.
Okay.
Oh, I
See
thought
the
it was just-
enchantment? No.
Was it
that
not just
the
Battle
one
of the
back.
Bands?
No.
Didn't it say Battle of the
I
Bands?
think that one was for the dance that they were going to be having.
I feel like
Well,
there
then
was
what?
a sign that
Yeah, but
said
you
Battle
don't.
of the
You don't.
Bands.
You don't. He was trying out. He wasn't competing. There
Yeah,
was
you
no
try
au-
out for Battle of the Bands.
Yeah, but not for an audience of 4 people.
No, but you don't try out for Battle of the Bands. You show up and play, and
yeah,
then
that's
you
your
get
tryout.
judged.
Yeah.
That's why it's.
He was trying out. That's why they were like, "You're too loud for the dance."
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just take your word for it because I'm kind of confused. I feel like I remember seeing that sign, but I don't remember the dialogue. So
Maybe it was a
whatever.
battle of the bands
They were
to
definitely-
compete to play for the dance.
Whatever it is.
Hey.
There were definitely other
They were
people
competing.
waiting.
They were battling.
Yeah,
So
they were competing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but that's what a tryout would be.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Or a
concurring.
battle.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm adding. I'm like agreeing. Yes.
And the entire band is set up when he enters the gymnasium.
Is that his band?
Yes, because it pans later and you see all of the other drum sets and instruments in
Right,
line waiting to
right.
come up on the
So
stage.
dumb.
So that was literally that's why I was saying like they set up that entire stage to play for 25 seconds.
Yeah.
and they got shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
It's
even
a
like,
big
hey, can you
investment.
turn it down just a
Let's
little bit?
let's try
let's
it
try
on
again.
a quieter
Try it
scale.
a little bit softer.
Do you know how annoying it is to break down a drum set?
If it
Super
is for the
annoying.
dance, like who dances to that kind of music anyway? Like
Well,
what do you do?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
I would. I know
What
how
would
to-
you
I know
do?
how
Would
to
you
dance
just
to
form
that.
a wall of death? I mean, what else can you do?
Heck yes. Could you imagine a bunch of
Would have a heckin' good time.
young fellas and ladies all in like dresses and tuxes in a wall of death?
I would love a modern version of this movie where he goes back to the 80s and plays like metalcore.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
And
feel like they would
everybody,
just
everybody in
shoot
the
him.
80s would be like, "What
Yeah.
the hell?"
That
They're
would
used
be
to Van
s-
Halen and shit, but
that
then
would
he's
be
like
like-
doing a breakdown.
Right.
That would be
cool.
straight Satan. That's when they had the Satanic Panic is in the 80s. So
Yeah.
that would be a really bad move.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he might not make it back
Right.
to modern day, but
Yeah.
who cares?
He wouldn't be shot.
I know the 80s were murdery, but like I kind
I
of
mean,
wish
Cannibal Corpse is from the 80s.
I kind of wish that I was a teenager during that time. It's
Meshuggah's
looks
from the
really
80s.
great.
I don't know. The outfits were really unflattering.
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Well, except for like, yeah, I'm
I
getting
was- I
so
actually-
lost in this time. I'm like, except for the mom at the dance, that was in the 50s. Let's
Yeah,
keep
she
going.
was a prude in the 80s.
Woo-wee.
Should we
Yes,
talk
she
about
was.
his family a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about her
Yes.
jowls.
Okay.
Jesus, that was so. I was like, we were both confused about the dad because we knew the mom
because he's
was obviously in
25
makeup.
years old.
And he's also the creepy thin man from Charlie's Angels.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
loved him.
Yes.
He was
Hold
so
on, you love
wholesome.
which version of him?
Like
Him
the
as
beginning.
a whole, or the beginning of him.
You mean as a dad or in the 50s?
I both.
Okay.
Because he was kind of nerdy and just like
A
was
peeping
very
Tom.
oblivious. Well, yeah.
Did he have
Look at that.
more of a lisp in the 50s than he did when he was an adult?
When he eats
Because I
cereal
feel like
in
he was
the
like,
diner.
oh, I don't know, guys. Like he was all very like fidgety and like had a.
gotta ask her out.
What do I even say?
It's
you know,
really weird to me.
density.
It's really weird to me that like a guy like Marty could have a dad like that because aren't you kind of like your parents when you're a kid still?
Yeah,
100%.
that's a good
So
point.
like he was a totally different carrot.
Yeah.
There's no way
Yeah.
that,
That's right.
that he came from that carrot.
I like that.
yeah.
Did you just make it up?
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah. It was, and the old person makeup, the old person makeup in this.
But
It
only
was
for the
just
moms.
was it just
Sucked.
No.
was it just glasses?
I hated it. It freaked
Crispin
me out.
Glover had old person makeup on too.
I thought he
looked
just had like
fine.
He didn't
glint-
look fine.
I
He
thought he had like a
looked-
glint of silver in his hair, and then he had like crow's feet wrinkles.
Normal.
But he also had like this going on. Like that's what they
Who's
thought.
Crispin
when you get-
Glover?
the dad.
Oh, I didn't know his name.
Creepy,
That's his
thin-
name.
creepy
That
thin
movie,
man.
I know him as Creepy Thin Man.
Sorry,
Yeah,
his
that
name is.
too.
I'm sorry. His
Crispin.
name is Crispin,
Yes.
like a snack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like the what is it? The hard cider.
Yeah.
Crispin. Yeah.
Oh my
like
gosh.
that.
Wait, is that his?
Yeah.
Oh,
Totally.
He
Definitely.
also has
Don't
a
ask
line
him.
of hand
don't ask him
shields.
because I.
That's right, Glovers. So, no, but like his face was like sunken down. He literally looks like current day Mike D from the Beastie Boys.
Oh,
Yes,
a
I
lot
totally
of
know
a lot of
exactly
people
what
will
you
get
mean.
that reference.
Yes.
Well, and also his eating habits. I already made a mention that he eats
Oh my
cereal
god,
in the diner.
peanut brittle.
Yes. Who pours a
pours it
bowl of peanut brittle?
Out of a box into a bowl.
I thought it was cereal, but it's
No.
not.
no, yeah,
It's worse.
peanut brittle.
Caramel and peanuts.
and peanuts. That's
Wait, so
disgusting.
you liked him? You thought he was
Charming.
charming.
I love when he was laughing at the TV. That
God,
made
I
my heart sore.
See, to me, I was
Hated him.
I was very depressed during that scene
Oh.
God.
because I felt like the mom was not happy in that
No,
situation.
she was miserable.
She's
She was
over
with
it.
a fucking
He's
beta
also
cuck.
he's also miserable.
But that's, I think, another thing that was pulled away in the positives of this movie was that he went back in time and kind of
fixed his
fidgeted
dad.
with a little bit and fixed their relationship in the end.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they were not, she was like, that's the first time we kissed at the dance, right, hon? He goes, because he's watching the TV.
yeah.
But like in the end of it, they
He's a
are
stud
playing tennis.
muffy.
He's a stud muffy.
Dude, you
Gives
just
her a little spank on the
Author.
popper.
you so accurately just did his face where his like when he laughs, it's like his eyes were crying while
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah.
Because he was.
He is the, I
Yeah.
think the meaning behind like the scream mask. He's a,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
That's
Yes.
him. It's from him.
Yes.
For sure.
We just solved it.
But
it was
no,
a big
seriously,
mystery before.
but
Time
he's
old
he's obviously miserable because
His
you
boss
start off
is
seeing him
Biff.
being smacked around by Biff. Why is he in his house?
Because
My supervisor's not coming over and then
That's how the
pushing me
80s
around.
are, man.
because
Wrecked a
he
car.
lent him a car.
Yes.
And
That
then he was
he
like,
wrecked.
no. He lent Biff a car that had a blind spot.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't tell him.
Well, that's obviously his fault.
That's literally what his excuse was.
Come on.
You gave me a
And
car
he
with a
was
blind
like,
spot.
he was like,
and
look,
you
I
didn't tell me?
spilled beer all over myself, and I was like, I'm sorry, sir, but
You could
You were
never.
drinking.
well, that's illegal.
Fuck, I couldn't stand this guy. That
Yeah.
that's like pussy to a level. I don't care if I'm in a cage with a fucking tiger. If he keeps biting my elbow, I'm gonna punch him in the
Yeah.
head. You know what
As
I mean?
you
Like,
should.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
lose.
mean, I guess his it was his livelihood and it was his job and stuff. 'Cause
That's I
Biff was
guess
his,
so, but
you know,
fuck
That's
that.
the whole thing.
Because if
Do
you're
you
eating
want
peanut
me to
brittle
know?
for dinner,
right.
you're not making a lot of
Things
money.
are not
That's a good
going
point.
well
But
for you.
that was
But
also
like your wife is obviously like that pussy's dry, dude. She's
Dusty.
she's not feeling it.
No, that's why she keeps peanut brittle in the house, and she
And
they
grows
kept
jowls.
they kept making comments about her weight, like clearly,
Yeah.
yeah, like
yeah.
Well, he could just, I mean, if she was that dry, he could just kind of wipe the grease off the top of his head
Yeah.
and just slap it on there.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Because
nice
that was
lacquer.
when Biff hit him on the top of the head, it sounded like
was
he
a
was hitting
helmet.
a pile of gravel. It was like,
Yes.
I don't know what, and
That's where the
even-
mic was.
That's where the mic was, I guess. But even like back in the day too, when he did it in the diner, it's had the same exact
They
sound.
had weird sound effects because I
Super
noticed
weird.
whenever
I didn't
Marty
notice.
would run, the shoes were so crisp sounding on the concrete.
Oh my god, I gotta
Weird.
watch it again.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Well, we
Yeah,
were
me
watching in surround sound, so I guess we kind of noticed a lot more
Wow, weird.
on our
flex,
70,
but
72
we were
okay.
watching a weird Russian version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosnida.
I was like, can we get subtitles? And Ryan was like, nope. Okay. Anyway, so then he has a brother and a sister.
Yeah,
Yes.
who basically are irrelevant.
They're non-characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
just
only there for the
photograph.
picture, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
For sure.
So after you get introduced to the family, what happens? I'm trying to
Okay,
think of what
well,
the next-
Doc calls him
It's like, yeah, right
It's
after that.
right after
then he's
that.
like, you got to meet me at the mall.
at 1:15 in the morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
super not weird,
Well, I guess it's Doc, so
Par for the course for this
I guess.
kooky guy.
so
This kooky guy.
yeah. Where was he though? I wonder, because obviously he took the dog with him, but he had his machine going.
Was he in the parking
so it's
lot
been days.
the whole time?
No,
Yeah,
it's been
was
days
he
because
in
the
a
dog
different
food
time?
has piled up.
Yes. Was he in a different time? Because he was able to call Marty.
No, he hadn't tested it yet because his dog was Einstein was the first
So
time
was he
traveler.
just in that truck bed?
Well,
thing?
no, because he called him at the shop and he was like, "What did the clocks say?" And he was like, "The clocks were 20 minutes ahead of time or whatever."
And that's why he was late to school.
Yes. He's like, "You telling me that I'm late, Doc?" Remember that?
Oh my god.
He called him
yes.
like in the beginning and was like, "Hey,
Why did that happen? So was he just fucking lying? Was that just a fucking lie when he said Einstein was the first time traveler?
Well, he might have done it with Einstein first. Or he might not have been talking about his damn dog. He might have been talking about actual Einstein.
That's it. That's what it is.
He met
Yeah.
up with it. Let's the hair?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
is Doc Einstein?
It's definitely a reference
definitely-
to,
yeah.
yes.
it's
Oh
supposed
my
to be.
god.
Don't you know all smart white guys have hair sticking straight up like that? Like they're
Yeah,
being electrocuted.
that's why I'm pissed.
If they're scientists, if they're mathematicians, not so.
Right. They look like Marty's dad if they're
Yes,
mathematicians.
100%.
Smart. Yeah.
Yes.
So the big issue is they also show a news report in the beginning going, plutonium got snatched from this place,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And obviously that's another piece of the buffalo.
Yeah,
that
but
gets
that
used,
was a little confusing because it was under the bed. It showed you like in that same scene. That's where the plutonium was.
Yes.
So,
That's
but then Doc had it.
extra.
Right.
That's extra
So
plutonium.
he took
Oh, that's
two
extra. Okay, so
huge
it made
giant
the
yellow
news.
cases of it.
It made the news that this plutonium was stolen, but
Yeah.
he stole it from Libyan terrorists.
He stole
Why
it
would that
the
be-
Libyans. Yeah. He stole it for them. No, the Libyans stole it. And then he snatched
Okay.
it from the Libyans.
No. He
okay.
stole the Libyans told him to steal it. He took it and
Why?
then gave the Libyans a
Was
No,
he like,
suitcase
I'm
of
a,
other
no,
things.
no. The Libyans stole it and said, "You make a bomb for us." He made a
Yes,
bullshit
yes.
Okay.
bomb
That's
and
right.
then kept the plutonium.
Okay.
Doc isn't
That makes
slick
sense.
I'm just
enough to be
confused.
fucking
I'm
robbing.
confused about why this would be in the news. I guess.
A bunch of missing plutonium should be in the news.
Where is it missing from?
Huey
What
Lewis's
is
house.
plutonium?
It's radioactive material.
used for nuclear bombs?
It is one of the elements, I believe, right?
Plutonium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
sure, right?
I think Plankton's a huge fan of it. No, that's uranium. That's never. Let's move on to the
Great.
next thing. Bomb SpongeBob reference.
So he's showing off that he has invented a time machine, and he sends his dog back in time. I thought the first test, but you're right. I want to watch this again. With
I don't know,
that
but the way
lens.
that he acts is like it's the first test. He's
Yeah,
like
he's
amazed.
shocked that it
Yes,
works.
Yes.
Pull out this video camera, Marty, and
Right.
record this whole thing because it's so groundbreaking.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know. Email us.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, but so he does send his dog back, and then you think the dog got fucking murdered.
Of course.
Yeah, you're
Because they're so he wired it up with a remote control. and for some reason makes them both stand in front of where the car was.
For theatrics.
That's all
Just
it
for
was
theatrics.
for.
Yes.
There was no other. And Marty keeps
It made
trying
a
to,
good video.
he keeps trying to like scoot away, and then
Yeah.
Doc looks over like, "Where are you going?"
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that
He's like, "I'm not-
trust that is implicit trust.
And by the way, it's your first test.
Yeah. What if it doesn't work, bro?
Do a trial run first.
Yeah.
no, he's only going 88 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The killing speed.
Well, he's going 60-something miles an hour before the car even moves, according to the speedometer. When
Yeah.
he's spinning the tires, the
'Cause does
speed
that
is
work
going up.
that way?
It does not.
Okay,
No.
I'm
It
not
really
a mechanic, just to preface, but it was confusing.
You're not?
I'm actually not.
Oh,
Okay.
could have fooled
Okay.
me. Thought it would have been all the tattoos on your face and stuff like that. Mechanic. But yeah, like they, and the fire tracks and everything, like
Those are like the kind of details that I'm talking about. The fact that it's such an arbitrary 88 miles an hour. It's just difficult enough to get to. It's achievable. That's another thing that makes this like a cult classic movie, is because it's there's a detail that they kind of repeat over and over and over
Right.
again. So 88 is such a big thing, and the tire tracks are obviously the flaming tire
iconic.
tracks are
Right.
obviously iconic.
Yes.
and flux capacitor and all those
Flux
like
All that
things.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you even see like local oil change shops like, we fix flux capacitors.
Yeah.
I know they don't.
I made a note
You
that
sure?
Marty's watch stopped working during this time. They like made a show of it. Like he looked at his watch and shook it because it didn't work
Yeah.
after Doc referenced the time. And I wrote that down because I was like, that's going to be something that pops up, and it never does.
Yeah,
Is that
but it
something in
doesn't
the
really show you that
sequels?
it doesn't work. He's kind of like
Okay, so it's like
looking at
when
it.
he's like when he says, Marty, tape this, record this, or whatever with the video camera, and he's saying the time. He's saying it's 1:17 a.m. and he looks at his watch, or 1:18 a.m. maybe, and he looks at his watch, and then he like notices it doesn't work because he shakes it, and then he's just like, oh, and has to keep recording.
Interesting.
And I was like, why did they even have that in there? Or was that beginning Parkinson's?
I think that might have been it.
Because it's confusing.
Wow, that took a turn.
Oh, I do actually have another interesting fact. Actually, Shaky Boy wasn't the first guy to be
God.
cast in the movie. They shot.
Was it Keanu Reeves?
No.
Please.
Okay.
Why do you think it was Keanu Reeves?
I don't know.
Why not?
Because in Bill and
I
Ted.
think
Random.
because they were gonna have Will Smith be Neo, and so now whenever I think of like a different,
That's true.
That's true.
In the
gross.
Matrix.
No,
Can you imagine?
We'll discuss that at a later date.
Yeah,
That's
well,
hot. That's hot.
That's hot.
On the what?
Yo, she shot them bullets at me, and I've been around them.
when I think of
That's
the
hot.
Matrix. All right, but anyway,
He'd be like, yeah, ha ha, woo.
he'll make a song about it.
Yeah.
A rap.
But,
God, I want a Matrix rap so bad.
But they
SoundCloud,
had a
get on
different
it.
guy in it, and they shot like I think something like 70% of the
Do you
movie.
remember who
with
it was?
No, it's This was
A
the
no
guy's
name?
only like shot
Wow.
at something, and then Michael J. Fox I think was also a no name, and they brought him
Oh.
in
At the
because
time.
the first guy wasn't funny. They were like kind of rewatching the footage, and they were
Was
like,
Michael J. Fox funny?
he does have comedic value. He kind of because some of the scenes are supposed to be funny.
Yes,
You're supposed to
goofy,
laugh
yes.
and goof at like his reactions. Like a good example would me and you both laughed really loud was when Biff stands up to him, and you can just see Marty McFly's eyes over his shoulder,
He
and he
looks over.
kind of even like as if to acknowledge the camera. He kind of even like stands on his tippy toes a little bit to go
Yeah.
and really show his eyes kind of working.
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. The other
Okay,
guy
I
didn't
see
have
what
any
you mean.
comedic
Or
value.
maybe the other guy
also-
was too tall.
a snack
Yeah.
to look at.
Well,
He was cute.
Sexy.
Juicy.
Got
He
a
was
crush.
cute back then. His little outfit was yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So I agree.
How old do you think he is in this?
21.
I think he falls into like the 13 or 30 kind of guys.
13.
like
Where
you
you
don't
can't
know
tell
one
if
or
he's
the
a
other.
child or an adult.
Yeah.
I think Doc has that same problem with him.
Yo, true.
That's why he wants a time machine so bad, so he can go back and fuck him legally.
Oh my
So you can
god.
go forward and legally.
The,
Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
the
Sorry.
fans of this movie are going to absolutely massacre us. Fucking A.
We'll
All right, so
we'll edit
then
that out.
it's interesting to hear them talk about nuclear stuff back then.
Mm-hmm.
They had no idea that they were fucking wearing outfits like that would help you. Sorry, I watched Chernobyl. I know that doesn't do shit for you. They're like, it's a nuclear whatever outfit. You know,
Oh,
Like a
yeah,
hazmat
yeah,
suit.
yeah,
Hazmat-
hazmat
it was
suit.
basically
Yeah.
a hazmat suit, and I'm like, why are you wearing gloves? You're handling plutonium.
So there's no
Not
radiation
doing
suits?
anything for you. I mean, you basically have to have lead in front of the radiation,
it
between
would
the
have to
radiation
be-
and you. So if you have a lead suit,
Yeah.
then yeah, there's that. But
Wow.
And
They definitely didn't know that in the 80s, though.
Okay, and
For
this is
sure
also
not,
during
yeah.
the Cold War, right? So like there were talks of nuclear war and things.
Yeah, but it's
Everything
also around
was-
like Chernobyl time too.
Yes,
so
Chernobyl
they didn't
was
know what the
what,
fuck was going on
86
either.
or something?
Yeah, so they
Well,
would have done the same thing.
The Soviets didn't know what the fuck they were doing,
but the
Yeah.
Libyans did.
but the Libyans did.
For sure.
No,
And
but
he should-
American nuclear stuff was good.
And he should have better footwear than orange Nike Dunks.
Yeah, Doc Brown in that
I'm not
first
surprised.
scene, he's wearing. I think this is a Nike ad also.
It's also a
it's
Pepsi
super
ad.
sponsored by
Definitely
Nike and
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Yeah,
Yes.
and
Definitely.
DeLorean.
Which is
Totally.
hilarious because Pepsi is so not a competitor anymore. I don't feel like.
Yeah,
I
they're
think-
definitely top of the game.
I wonder if the DeLorean was their first choice. I don't think it was. And that
Why not
that,
a Trans
that
Am?
4x4, that truck, they
The-
fucking fetishized big time.
Yeah,
The
what
pickup?
is it, a Toyota or something?
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
so.
like a- yeah.
yeah.
Looked like one. I don't know.
Get a
Sound
lot
like
of-
one too.
It's,
Not a
it's
truck guy.
basically a big commercial.
It's
Cool.
huge. It's product placement all over the place.
So let's maybe get to where he goes back in time.
oh wait, was that a part of this film?
Yeah, we're an hour in.
When does that happen?
So basically, it's all an accident. You know,
Yeah.
he's just trying to get away from the terrorists because the terrorists find them.
And the date was set because Doc was like going,
This is the
date. Beep, 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 beep. He couldn't just say. He was like, this date is when I invented time travel.
Right, and that's also the same date that Marty's parents met. Okay,
Yeah.
that's important because he obviously has something to do with that later. So, like, it just so happens that Doc invented time travel the same day that Marty's parents met, and the way that they met was that
Well, the night before.
no,
Because he comes at night.
Amen.
what?
He
No,
yeah,
Comes in the
he crashes
morning.
into a barn at night
Oh,
and
you're
scares
right.
the whole
In the
right.
middle
Oh,
of the
yeah.
night, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
then he
that's
whipped-
confusing because it seemed like he put that date in.
But here's
no,
the thing.
he did because that's when he slipped and hit his head and then had the
Yeah, right,
it
right. And I
figured out
thought that was
flux
the
capacitor.
same day.
But
that,
but it
It was
probab-
just the night before.
no, but I think it was. It's because he had to meet him in the parking lot at 1:16 in the morning or whatever. So whenever they do the time travel, there's no time. It's just a date. So you go to the exact
Oh,
time.
okay, so it was the morning of.
So it was the morning
Okay,
of that
okay.
day.
I
That
didn't
makes
know
sense.
that was part of it. I thought he punched in a time.
You
That's
you
what-
do punch in the time because at the end
That's how
he
he
put
left.
it 10 minutes earlier.
Now
See?
wait a second, but I don't think they did it on the first one because the dog, he set the timer that the clocks were
yeah, but
matching.
those are different. Those are different clocks.
They were
Climbs. Different climbs.
they were different clans. So they send the dog in the time, and he like literally split second. For him, it's a split second, but he comes back exactly a minute later.
Okay,
Right.
you know what? I'm not going to
know what
die
I'm
on this
saying?
hill. I thought it was the night before, but okay, because he already has the wound on his head. He says, "I know how you got that wound, that
Yeah.
head
Right,
wound,
right.
because
He'd already done it.
he'd already done it,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
it
But it's
didn't
later in the
just
day.
happen."
No, but it's later in the day.
Yeah, sure.
So-
Whatever. It could be that day. That's fine.
I decree.
I declare.
Okay, so that's
He's
why that
also-
date was set.
Right.
We
But
covered that.
he also is, of course, one of the things I loved about that was that his yellow suit and face covering mask, which Doc Brown did not have for some reason,
Because
but
it
he of
doesn't
course
help.
had the head helmet thing, looks identical to the kid's comic book of an alien crashing into a thing and coming out in this yellow suit. Did they think aliens wore like hazmat suits?
I'm calling bullshit on that. Show me one comic book that shows an alien
What-
drawn
does
in
it-
a human
maybe
hazmat
it was just
suit.
like a
Yeah.
spacesuit. Does it
What?
just,
Was it
does it
anything like
just
a
look
spacesuit?
like a spacesuit?
But even still, do aliens need spacesuits?
No, because they're just long and green.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Of course they do. Of course they need spacesuits.
Long.
Hold on.
They don't just exist in the universe between planets. They exist on a planet, seemingly, that has air.
Well, that has whatever they need for
But it's
air.
it's most likely not non-air, which is
but
what is in
like
the
the
universe.
Twilight Zone was like a thing coming out. Like people had concepts of aliens that were way more like sophisticated than a dude in an obvious Earth suit.
Shit's scary, man. That with that car too, crash landing into your barn. Anytime something crashes into your barn and you're in the woods or you're in the countryside and you're on a farm, that shit is aliens.
Which, by the way, he
Men
literally
in Black.
crashed there because that's where the mall was built.
Yes.
In the future.
Yes.
Because Doc mentioned that he had a friend that was like all about pine trees or whatever, and they knocked them all down to build that
See,
mall.
now what you were saying
Two
about
Pines
time
Mall.
is that's true with space for sure. Wherever you do go back in time, you stay in the same location.
Right.
That's for sure
Yes,
true.
yes.
I did know that.
That's interesting, and that's one of the best parts of this movie because obviously then you get to see how the town was in the 50s.
Right.
So it's really fun. But yeah, we gotta get to the 50s because Christ.
Well, we're there. So he he hits the barn. And
Yeah. So but Doc dies,
Well, he gets lit up.
but that's a big part of it. Yeah,
Right.
like the Libyans are
no,
coming.
no. Doc dies.
Yeah.
No, Doc dies.
He did.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I'm getting this now. I'm remembering him pulling out a piece of paper from his jacket that was all torn up.
Was that maybe in a different timeline?
See, that's what I'm so lost about. Like,
See,
where did
that's
they
the
meet? Where did they meet?
I have concrete proof, and
Okay.
I just made a pun that you guys don't get, but I get.
Good
Lay
job.
it on me.
The clock in the end. I'm skipping way to the end,
Cool.
but when he's at the clock, he breaks the concrete ledge, right? And that's what makes him
Yes.
slip, and
Yes.
he's hanging from the clock.
Because you can
When
break
he goes-
concrete by standing on it.
Yeah, that's obviously like that bugged the shit out of me. I was like,
Fail-safe.
what kind of fucking masonry
It's
is
made
that?
out of foam.
But so when he comes back from being in the 50s, he sees the building, and the building has the chip in it still.
Right.
If you look at the building in the beginning, he doesn't have the chip.
Damn.
It's
That
a
is
different
rad.
timeline. He doesn't come back to the same it's not like a full circle.
Right.
Like he's not the reason he's named Marty. He is the reason he's named Marty in the
In
new
the
timeline.
new timeline.
Right.
But he's not in the
Okay.
first one.
Fucking
so
cool,
the bulletproof
man.
vest only comes in the second timeline.
I hate this.
Yeah.
No, it's great. That's
No, I
why.
hate how
that's
great it
why
is.
it's that's why it's like Rick and Morty because Rick and Morty is very confusing in that way. They have like 1,000 different timelines at some point.
No, they don't have any timelines.
Um,
They deliberately don't do time travel for that reason. They only do dimensions.
oh, dimensions. Okay,
Yeah.
I was mixing them up.
Yeah.
Very similar things.
Yeah, that's why they do it.
That's right.
Okay,
I knew that.
great. So where should we go now?
I just
Now
want to
that he's in
also
the
just
50s?
throw this in before we get to the 50s. I know this is like right before this. I think that instead of trying to build a nuclear bomb, the Libyans should be more concerned with the weapons that they're buying and the vehicles that they're buying.
Yeah, because they
Because both of them were faulty in the exact moment that they needed them.
Yeah,
Yep.
not very
Marty
good.
would be dead twice
yeah.
had that gun not misfired both times. And then they're trying to chase after him and the car won't go.
What I
I'm-
really like is their aesthetic of having a VW bus.
Yes.
And by the way,
With
with,
a sunroof.
great handling,
It's great.
I
it's keeping
mean-
up with this souped up DeLorean that runs on fucking plutonium.
Because they have
That's
a
doing donuts in
reputation
a
for
parking
being
lot.
very fast and easy to drive.
Right.
That's
I
right.
think my aunt had one when I was a little girl, and it literally, she was driving it, and the engine just caught on fire once. Like,
Yeah,
she had a VW bus.
That sounds
just,
about
That
right.
makes sense.
I agree.
You were there?
So
So the 50s, huh?
the 50s.
1955.
Literally 56 minutes in.
Hey, there you
Before we
go.
get to the 50s.
Well, it was 55
50.
is when they went
Whoa!
back. So
My.
I was planned this.
Okay.
Yeah, so 55, everything looks the same, just older.
And there's less of it. There's less town.
And there's less town. And like his neighborhood, you were saying this, the neighborhood that he was in. Go ahead.
I thought I did have a nice chuckle because obviously the neighborhood
Oh.
hadn't
Let me
been
tell you
Had
about
a
my
nice
chuckle.
little ha-ha.
hadn't been built yet, but the like concrete lion statues
Yeah.
were in place perfectly. Like that was their main concern was like let's get this done before the
we
houses.
can't do the houses until
Yeah.
we
Right.
have the driveway.
And another thing is that these two huge
That's true.
pillars are on the street in the entrance.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed this. Normally they're in like the grass on the sides of the
Ah.
entrance. They're on the actual street
cool,
of
Yeah.
the
cool,
entrance.
Yeah.
cool.
That's a little too nitpicky.
You can literally only fit like one car through
I
the
think that's
entrance
because
of
it's
the-
That's actually a good point.
made
Actually,
out of
yeah.
foam.
Why-
You're right.
yeah.
They were close together.
Yeah. I mean,
Very
maybe this
close.
is fitted
Well,
into
back
one
then,
shot. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably just only the man worked, so every
That's
family
true.
only had one
yeah.
car
Traffic went one way only.
to
And then-
work and home from work.
That's right.
He's like, I'm obviously in the 50s, so let me hide this really futuristic car just behind a billboard.
And with a couple
What do you
branches
want him
on
to
it.
do, guys? What do you want him to do?
I laughed at that because he was like,
She was like, "Good fucking job."
he was like, I hit it back here, and I'm like, you can see
like,
the whole
What
thing.
is he gonna do? Push it?
That's what he did. He pushed it.
He's in a fucking field. He's in on a horizon line. You can't. The only thing
Fucking
to hide
Indiana.
I
behind
Was
is
this
a sign.
Indiana? Why is it so flat? God. But on,
Is it?
Where does it take
I
place?
think it's the Midwest. It must be because it's like October-y and
I have
it's
to-
cold there, so
yeah.
it's not the South.
I actually have an issue with the town. Before the 50s.
Well, I was going to talk about
guys.
the town because you made a mention of how everything just looks a little older.
Yeah.
But like if you go when we lived in that small town, York, South Carolina, if anyone wants to visit,
Shout out.
it does look like that.
No, it looks like that. But what doesn't happen is the people aren't like that. The town is so bizarre. Like everyone is like the lady, save the watchtower, save the it's.
That's very 80s. 80s.
Is it?
That's very 80s movie to have a character
maybe,
like that.
yeah,
Totally.
I guess so. It just felt like it was like
For a cause. They
I
have to have a
doesn't
cause.
agree.
Yeah.
No.
I guess so.
The way you described it as Stars Hollow from
Yeah.
Gilmore Girls
Yeah.
is accurate. Like towns like that are fucking Stepfordy.
Take
Like it doesn't
me
make
there.
sense.
I want to visit. I would love to live in Stars Hollow.
They're all androids.
I want
wouldn't
to
believe
have
anybody.
town festivals every weekend and like everyone knows each other. I like that shit.
You can come to my old hometown. They're
That's
like that.
that's that good shit. I think that's a northern thing. They don't do that down here.
At least, yeah. If they do,
I think once
I'm not about
Walmart's
it.
came around, it just kind of stopped happening.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Shit on
Fucking
everything.
Walmart.
Yeah, fucking Walmart.
Damn.
But
dude.
also, and jumping forward to when he runs
Please.
into
Let's go forward.
Yes, please. We can go to the
Let's
the
go
last
back to
third
the
of the movie if
future
you guys
of
want.
this.
when he first runs into Biff and his crew, right? In the 50s, did they have 3D movie
3D?
technology? Because why the fuck is he wearing
I
those
noticed
glasses?
that. Maybe that's when they first came around. They
Or-
must have been the thing where it was like red and blue. You know, it wasn't like actual. It
Or-
wasn't real D.
Or was there a solar eclipse? And those were solar
Could
eclipse
have been.
glasses.
Did they know about solar eclipses back then?
I'm sure they knew when they were happening. While they were happening.
The second it happened.
Yeah, not a second before.
Quick,
whoa,
put these
why is
glasses on. I mean, okay, they had like surely they had meteorology. I mean,
Well, of course.
it's hard for me to grasp because I don't know. Like they laughed at the idea of having two TVs,
Yeah.
and that's only a 30-year difference.
Yeah.
What are you, rich? No.
I have
Bro, I have
5.
6. Yeah.
And by the way, can you be like better, please? Like get it through your fucking head.
He
You've time
sucks.
traveled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is
Jesus.
he bringing that shit up?
Stop
I have
going.
That too.
Dad.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
mean, mom.
can you not call her mom?
Dad.
He said, George, Dad, George, guy on the bike.
By the way, that's never talked about either because George is never like, why are you calling me dad? That's really weird.
Nobody calls
some-
it out. He says mom and dad several times.
If a stranger calls me dad in public one time, it will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Especially if you
True.
end up liking him and then you're like, I'm going to name my son after that guy who called me dad.
Yeah.
You would never forget that guy.
No.
Especially
They
if he
would
looked
have
like
never.
me.
If you, so, you know, I believe that when if you meet your significant other in high school, you remember that high school experience way more than if you didn't because like that's how you met, right? And that's like a romantic like thing that sticks out in your head. So like he would remember Marty forever. He might even remember what he looks like.
He did. That's why he named his son Marty.
And don't you think he would think it's weird when his son turned into that person?
The exact.
Same outfit.
Like, whoa.
Wait, remember that guy in
know
high
what?
school?
I
He,
bet you-
because he dressed weird
Is he
too.
the dad?
Yeah.
Almost
I bet
fucked my
you,
wife?
And
I
he
bet you he
acted
was like
weird.
okay with it. I
Yeah.
bet you he was like, you know what? This dude saved my life. He got one
I'll
in.
give him one.
Yeah, because the other kids don't look anything like him.
No, they don't. They look like losers.
He got one in. It's all right.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good
I
point.
had not thought of that.
Me either.
About because because he's what?
I remember what
He's
people in high
17.
school looked like. Yeah.
So that would have been 17 years. We've been together 10 years.
But it wouldn't.
I
you
still
would-
remember stuff from 10 years ago.
Yes,
I think I
exactly.
would figure it out. I think if
Oh, yeah.
our son grew up to be someone I knew in high school,
Holy
like,
shit, that could happen.
yeah, I would
Except
be
for
like,
we didn't know any Wolfgang.
but I wouldn't be like, he looks kind of like Mike. I'd be like he looks exactly like Mike.
That's Mike.
It's not even like I wouldn't think it was his son. I'd be like, that's fucking Mike. Like, you know what I'm saying?
One day he's like, yo, when did Mike get here?
Yeah.
Yo,
I think
yeah,
I'd
that's
figure it out.
crazy to think about. Oh my God.
That's a huge plot hole that they don't touch at all.
No, and I wish
No.
they would, but they don't.
well,
So,
maybe they cover it in 2.
I also love how the car is shitty too. Like it cannot start and it like runs out of gas and it's like what? When
Oh, only when you need it to.
The
course.
brand new DeLorean.
is it from 1985? Like what is the problem? Why does it have
That's
issues?
what was really annoying to me because in the end scene, jumping forward again, but like everything was going wrong. I'm like, can we just like hurry
The
this
tension.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
the
I did
cord's
not give
coming
a shit about
unhooked.
it.
I was like, no.
Oh, the cord coming unhooked for a second time. I was not
That's
okay
a
with.
little gratuitous.
He pulled it
Yeah.
and connected it, and
Yeah.
then it disconnected somewhere else. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
no,
he
I was
goes, ugh.
pissed.
And then like they make a big show of him trying to get there to do it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't show you him actually doing it. He does because he like quickly does it quickly,
Now another thing.
super quickly.
Quickly does it quickly.
Did Doc already go through this?
No.
Because he set a timer. He set a timer with the line where the line was. Remember, he had to go drive back to the line. He set a timer and put it on the dash for the exact time that he needed to go. When he tried to go, the car wasn't working. But yet he
still
still
made it.
hit the line at the exact time that the lightning met the
That
car.
is interesting.
That is interesting. Maybe he was like, oh,
Hollywood, hire me.
dude, that's a good point.
Because
Yeah.
you think he like had
Because
that.
here's another thing. Like, they're like, we know exactly what time because the clock got froze.
right. So that's a big part
When-
of
when
this.
the thing-
Actually,
but
people who have not seen the movie.
There's 60 seconds within a minute.
The clock
There
got
really
the
is.
clock, the big
I'm not
the
lying.
big like courthouse with a big clock on it in the
Yeah.
middle of their town got struck by lightning and it stopped working
Yes.
Yes.
at 10:04 on some October
Whatever, yeah.
day. So,
So they know
they need the lightning because
it's the only thing that can power because they don't have plutonium in the
Right,
50s.
right.
So they're like the only thing that can generate 1.26 gigawatts.
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 because that's a
of-
thing.
Yeah. He's like gigawatts.
How do I get enough?
So, but that.
No
but
one knows what that is.
What about the? They will.
It's gonna be our thing.
They
now.
will.
Yeah.
How essential was it? The whole thing plans out, like you were saying with the Buffalo thing. He is given this flyer, which then the girl writes her phone number on, which then he
Right.
puts in his pocket, which then he
Right.
takes back to the past and then shows Doc, I got this girl's number. Look, and you can see it's the Save
It's
the,
the
Clock
flyer,
Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is the thing that brings them back.
Yeah.
I mean, him back.
Beautiful.
It is.
But what my issue is
It's chef's kiss.
with the lightning strike is you got like you don't even have half a second of
Oh,
error.
I see what
room
you're
for
saying.
error.
Like it happened at 10:04, and what second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't have any. It's,
No.
it's lightning. It's as fast as light.
Yeah. It's the speed of light.
Well, in
Good fucking luck.
It also takes about 6 seconds to go from the clock tower down the wire to the other wire, which then hits the exact time.
This motherfucker couldn't just have it hooked to the car.
Why did he have to go through it? Why couldn't
Why did he
just
have to be at
sitting there?
88 when it powered it? What, like he couldn't build a
Yeah, because
battery?
that's not how it worked before. Yeah, he should have built a storage device.
Like a
Yeah,
reserve.
and
For
just
the
had
power.
this hooked up to a battery and then been like, okay, psst.
See, I could be a scientist.
Yeah, better than this fucking dark
Or, hello,
pedophile
More
bitch.
like
wind?
Quack Brown.
the wind?
Yeah.
Or,
Who
like-
knew it was a typhoon? Going, like they were shouting.
Yeah.
And they were like gonna fly away.
They were hanging onto the street posts and their legs were flopping behind them.
Yeah. It was the biggest. It's, one of those storms where it's like a terrible, terrible storm and there's no rain.
Yeah.
One of
And
those.
it also stops as soon as the lightning strikes the clock tower.
Oh, that's all
Yeah,
it needed.
yeah,
It just
yeah.
needed to
I
shit
s-
out one lightning strike.
Exactly.
Feels
One
better.
lightning strike and it's over. And then you yell,
Diarrhea
Great
resolved.
Scott!
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Great Scott. Oh, I made a note because he says Great Scott a couple times, and Michael Scott says that. That's
Yeah,
his
that's
like
his
production
production
company.
company. Great
Okay.
Scott.
He also says in a different episode where he's at like an adult daycare. That's just a joke. That he's gonna get the Back to the Future tattooed on his back.
And she goes, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, and then he reveals that he's in his 40s, and it's like he
That's
is
so
who
cool.
I think of when I think of like someone who would be that age but loves this movie.
Yeah.
But he loves it from the 80s.
Yeah.
He doesn't love it as a millennial.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point about this because like movies like this that are so hyped like this that are so
Like Star
people are
Wars.
so into it and nothing will ever reach that level of hype ever. Nothing
I
can
think
live up
Avengers
to that.
did.
Avengers for sure did.
Okay, but the hype was for what, a day before you saw it?
10 years.
No, the hype is for 2 years prior to the movie coming out
Okay,
because you
2
watch
years.
the movie and then
I'm
you go,
talking
I can't
about
wait
no.
for the
I'm
next
talking
one."
about like 30 years of hype. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about the
That's
Avengers
yeah,
today.
Okay, so the Avengers is not going to have a cult following.
I almost
Right.
spit.
Right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
and the hype is so like people will fight you over this movie. You know what I mean?
Yes. They're
people
like,
are
if you don't
freaks
like Back
about
to the
it.
Future, you're wrong.
And but that's the thing
okay.
with a lot of these movies that we do.
Yes.
And there's no way it could ever live up to that kind of hype.
Well,
Nothing
we'll
could.
see in 30 years.
The fans of things, super fans of things, I think make things worse.
True.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They destroy it.
Because I'm like, oh, you're that kind of person, and you like that thing. I connect the two. And if you're not a cool person,
People who are fans of anime struggle with this.
yeah.
Although super fans of The Office are excluded from this.
No, I don't think that's
I
true.
don't. It's not true anymore, unfortunately, because it became a thing, like a meme or something, to be like, I'm just one of those girls who just like can quote every single thing from The Office.
Yep.
And it's really irritating that I am, because I don't want to be associated with that. Like my brother said, because he dates and so he's on like Tinder and stuff. He says that like that's a thing, is that to put on your Tinder bio something from The Office.
Oh, probably the Bears beats Battlestar.
yes, or
yeah.
something else, and it's
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right on point. Exactly right. Bingo.
like second.
Let me see your
You mean
phone.
what's in my Tinder profile?
Which, if you were smart, you would put something like one single dwick goodbye. But anyway,
That's right.
it's
Or
annoying.
whatever Dwight does to enunciate the test.
Oh my god, I wish I remembered what he said.
Harry Pittle Puffle does a take a tittle tittle.
Everyone gets pissed.
Welcome back to the Office podcast.
Oh my god.
should do an Office
no, we
podcast.
can't, because I already listened to one that's okay, but then also Angela Kinsey and Jenna
Yes.
Fisher
Yes.
are
Oh,
doing
yeah, I
one
did
starting in
hear that. Shout out.
October. Yes, so I haven't listened yet because it's not October yet. But everyone should listen.
There is a preview out on it right now, but
Did
carry
you?
on.
Okay, because I haven't. Okay,
All right.
it's not about that.
Enough
So
about Tinder.
anyway,
Guys,
Back to the
guys,
Future.
Back to the Future.
The movie.
Back to the Future.
His mom wants to fuck him.
Yeah, we have to
How
talk
did you
about
know?
this.
So
How did you know that I just read the note?
She's so horny.
Would you fuck your mom in this situation?
so horny. Should I do a
so
soundboard?
they make yeah, you should. So they make reference to the fact that
clean your room.
she's such a prude, like she's a nun, and she always says things like, "I never chased boys when I was in high school" and shit like that.
Yeah,
and then when we cut to her in high school, she is a slutty McWhore.
Well, she's,
tits were
hold on.
hanging out.
She's not a slutty
She's
McWhore.
not, but she's horny
Because
as fuck.
She's horny as fuck.
She's wet all the time.
Now,
That's right.
did you guys get the vibe that she fucked before?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Are
you
When
kidding?
she said,
Okay.
when she said, "This is not my first time parking." That's
Yeah,
what she
parking.
meant.
That's a good point.
That's what she
a good
meant.
point. Yeah.
I was like, am I watching Back to the Future or RedTube? I was confused with
Is
the
this wait a second?
storyline.
Is this
I'ma flick
Pornhub?
my bean either way.
Wait a
Did I
second.
click on the wrong link?
Yeah.
Because that's all Pornhub is now, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's all.
It's all-
It's Back to the
it's-
Future.
my mom got stuck in the dryer.
What? Explain
Yeah.
this to me as a
It's all
non-porn.
mother-son porn.
Oh my god, no. Her saying it's all Back to the Future? No.
I didn't even hear her say
It's definitely not all Back to the Future.
I'm gonna have
Oh
to
my
check out
God.
some
No,
porn.
No.
it's all incestuous.
It's like stepbrother.
mother-son
It's not
stuff?
like mother-son. It's like
No,
stepmom.
sometimes it's
and
mother-son.
son.
Yeah.
I'm not on that page.
Yeah, I
But
am.
the
That's disgusting.
I
No.
searched for that shit.
God. Why is that hot?
It's like the
No,
taboo.
what the thing that bugs me are the stuck videos.
I could get brother and sister would
Listen,
be
there's
hot, but I
videos-
don't understand why
there's
mom
videos-
and son would
There's
be.
videos literally that are like my stepsister stuck under the bed, and it's the.
Oh
what
my god, I've
happens is-
seen memes of that because
Yeah.
they run in and they push their dick
Yeah,
in.
and they're like, "Oh, I see her butt and vagina," and half of the porno is the stepsister's face, like
yeah.
under the bed, going, "Stop!"
Oh my.
And
Our
then-
mom gets stuck like doing a yoga pose, and he just like rips open the yoga pants, and she's like, "Oh my god, stop!"
Yeah.
and it's all
Oh my
POV, and you're like,
God.
you get that a lot. You get that sound a lot from the guy.
That's really repulsive.
Every day we.
I'm
drift
glad
farther
that
from
your
God.
mom listens to this podcast. It's great.
Yep. Hi, mom.
Cool. Hey, Lisa.
She's our only fan.
Yeah.
Only fan. Yeah.
She, yeah.
So Marty fucked. He did not fuck his mom.
no, but he fucking kissed her.
He did. Well,
She kissed him.
yeah. It was one of those
And then
situations where he's kind of like.
Okay, so but we have to talk about why, because this whole setup to me was a little bit like, why did they have to set it up like this?
Before you get to that, I
Okay,
have one thing,
okay.
just a precursor. His dad is also a fucking perv.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
if his dad was a peeping tom
Okay.
in
Yeah.
current times, he would be a rapist.
So in the original timeline, Marty's dad is a peeping tom who fell out of a tree.
Because remember, they say he was bird watching.
Yeah,
which
he-
is kind of
he-
funny because
so-
birds are girls.
Sure. Well, that was his excuse.
In
so
Scotland.
he was peeping on his mom, fell out of a tree because he has no fucking upper body strength. Almost got hit by a car, and then gets picked on his whole life and is a beta cuck the entire time. And you think he's charming?
No, he
was,
is
but-
supposed to be hit by the car because that's how they met.
Yes.
There was
yes.
a lot.
That was her dad.
Yes.
Well, they said
He pushed her. He
didn't-
pushed him out of the
I
car.
guess he hit Marty too. Technically.
In the new timeline.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
the old
No, I
timeline
get
was
it.
supposed to be
'Cause
him.
he saved him.
And then
I
they
get
brought
it.
him in for dinner, and then they watched the television show because he took.
But my point is, his dad fucking sucks, and the fact that he gets this redemption story, he's still the same dude inside.
yeah,
He
Marty
just
goes,
it's like
"Aw,
he just
man,
needed
Dad's a
needed a
peeping
break.
Tom."
Like
He just needed.
something to give him
He's
the
still a
he
peeping
needed
Tom.
someone to give him confidence is what it was.
Ugh.
It was in him the whole time, but he just needed someone like Marty gave him confidence when he went back in time.
I mean, you're right. That's
Hit
what
something
happened.
that his dad didn't do. Which is
I just don't know if he
Exactly.
deserves it.
There was just a lot of
Maybe
weird.
Biff deserved to
Biff.
be
Can
pushing
we-
around.
Let's talk about Biff.
To be pushing around this peeping Tom fucking loser.
That's
maybe
right.
maybe
Biff-
he deserved it.
Biff. So yes, okay. Biff
That's
is an
all- that's all I'm
actual
saying.
rapist.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
yeah, the rape in
There
this
was
is a little too
so
casual.
many weird sexual things. Like the mom is trying to fuck her son. The dad is peeping Tom. She's trying to like.
Fuck
You know,
everybody.
on paper, it's a dark movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a scene where she sits up out of the car where she's being raped by Biff, and she goes, "Marty, help, help!"
Yeah,
and
like
Ariel
like,
literally went, "Oh my god!"
Wait,
yes,
that is
it was brutal.
that
Yeah.
wasn't. Was that to Marty?
No,
that
no,
was,
no.
It
That
was
was to
to
the dad.
George.
Yeah,
George.
Yes.
She goes, "George."
and he still
Like she had no choice. Like she couldn't just get out of the car or try to fight back or anything. Like
he
she was just
still
gonna let herself.
was like,
Okay.
guys,
I don't know.
I
if
don't know,
that's-
guys. If I should,
I think
maybe
we should.
what?
I think we should turn back. I don't know if like that's just a thing, but I think the way that they illustrated the peeping Tom thing, it was supposed to be like cute.
Yeah, well, maybe it
No,
was
no, no.
cute
That's
back
how.
then.
That's the '80s were horny like that.
Because
where
they
it was
didn't
like-
have porn
It
except
was
for
just
in
like,
magazine form.
I'm just being a boy. I'm fucking violating your privacy.
Drilling
Yeah.
a hole in the girls' locker room wall. That's
yeah,
just
yeah,
me.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
gonna slip my
I'm
dick
just
through.
hiding in the ceiling over a stall.
It's just
Yeah.
so funny. Like so quickly, it became absolutely unacceptable for
You know,
any of
and
that to happen.
I kind of wish, at least they were upfront about it.
They were
That's
just like,
true.
"Yeah, I want to see you naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
At
gonna,
least it was
I'm
just
gonna
like,
rape you."
No, boys are super horny and they do everything they possibly can. And at least that was
They
like in the
still
ethos.
do. They still
Of course
do.
they do. But now we have to go, I'm a gentleman, huh, until we fucking cave in ourselves so much that we shoot up a school.
They just rip their dicks off. It's fine.
Rip it up.
Yeah.
Now I'm fine. I can
Yeah.
be friends with girls. All right, so okay.
Yes. So we watched Back to the Future, and that's
Wait,
the
are we
movie that we're
wrapping it
doing. No,
I was like, I feel like I have more to say.
no, I wasn't wrapping it up. I was corralling it.
Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, no,
Back
we
to
did-
this.
we
Okay,
did
well,
the
so
corral.
so they come up with this scheme because the whole thing, this whole Marty's side of it, while Doc is trying to get everything going with the car, Marty's side of it is that he needs to get his parents together because obviously his mom's lusting after his penis, and he has to get them together because he's disappearing.
Yes, that's a big factor. His measurement for how good he's doing for maintaining the timeline is
he's the
watching
youngest.
this dorky ass photo of his brothers and sisters and him fading away.
Yeah.
In front of a well.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture right here.
Yeah.
Family photo op.
But he does an awful job. Like he's telling George, like, this is what you need to do. But then when it comes time to it, Marty just does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, that's a note I have.
Okay.
Marty did a really shitty job at trying to make his mother not want him. Like
Yes.
he would always be like, George, you got to go in there and you got to stand up for yourself. And then Biff would come in and then he trips him.
Yeah.
And then he stands up to him and
Yeah.
then everybody's like, oh, Marty's or
Yeah, he's
this
like-
strange
he's-
guy we've never seen before in this town of 50
He's
people.
cool.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard.
Yeah.
The Coast Guard.
What?
Because he's
they-
got the
life
Oh, that's
preserver.
right. I was like,
Yeah.
where did that come?
He goes, "Hey,
Yeah.
can you abandon ship?"
So then, okay, they set up the situation where Marty is going to take his mom out on a date, and he's going to get handsy with her. This was his idea. And then George, which is Marty's dad, is going to come in and save her so
Yeah.
that she'll think he's like this big, strong man and like fall in
Right.
love with him because she's completely out of her gourd for
Right.
her child.
Yeah.
He comes up with that.
Right. But I think the initial plan.
He's like, I'm going to honk my mom's boobs.
Well, I'm sure that was on the docket,
I'm going to feel her thigh.
but I think that it was supposed to be planned exactly to where
He
he
was
was going to
just about
stop
to be?
them. Yeah. Before anything
She
happened.
likes
He was
him.
He was
expecting-
gonna slip
he
a
was-
finger in
She
for
likes
sure.
No!
She likes him though, so like she
Yeah.
wouldn't stop him from being handsy unless he was already being aggressive.
He was expecting her to be more of a prude.
Right.
Yeah.
But once they
And then
Okay,
she was
okay.
like, that's
Pulls
when
out
she was like,
alcohol,
"Oh,
she
I be
starts to
drinking."
smoke.
Yeah.
Marty, do you drink? And he's like, what? No.
Yeah.
I'm not a terrible
So that
person.
fucking threw a wrench in it.
That was a really funny scene, too.
And then
he was like,
he was
Mom.
late. The dad. He
Yeah.
was late.
Runs in the
Yeah.
family.
He somehow is like just drinking punch and then looks up at the clock. Oh, that's right. The entire reason I'm here is happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me go run out there. And
Well,
in
Biff
that
gets
time,
to him first.
and in that time, Biff takes it over. By the way, the guys, and especially with the 3D glasses, his crew, they go lock him in the trunk
Oh, and
Of
are
the bandits.
super racist.
of the. Yes, they are.
They just casually are like calling them spooks and stuff, which honestly I didn't know was a racial slur until I heard them say it in the movie, and then I was
I
like,
know.
I just know that's a racial
Ariel
slur.
walks around
Yeah.
the fucking grocery store and she's just like, spook.
Well, she jumps out behind things and goes, "I spooked you."
Hello, it's almost October, of course.
Yeah.
I spook it.
Oh,
Maybe that's what that's about.
blackface spaghetti.
But reefer addicts, I really
Reefer addict.
love that.
Hey, we're not trying to get involved in no reefer addicts.
And speaking of that band, they're pretty charming because at the end when he's playing rock and roll, he calls Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Marvin Berry's
Chuck!
band. You know that new sound you were looking for?
So cute.
Well, this is it.
I love that like
Right?
his cousin was in Midwest Indiana or wherever.
Randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
At
good-
a high school
good-
fucking.
Thank
dance.
God that happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder when did he try out for that?
Well, so everything goes smoothly. We're an hour and 20
pretty
minutes
much.
in.
Hell yeah, let's roll.
I
it.
have here in quotes it says it's been educational. I don't remember why I said that.
You said Marty said that, and you were like, "I'm gonna start saying that."
That sounds like me. Okay, so you have a couple things that you wrote on here that you don't want me to. You said don't let me forget.
Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, when he's at the bell tower, when he's trying to fucking plug in the first
Oh my
disconnection. God, this scientist who invents time travel can't fucking invent a clasp.
That
Yeah.
Like a
locks
functioning
it.
clasp?
Well, there was a clasp. It got stuck to his pants when he was hanging from the
Jesus.
clock.
For I don't know 5 entire minutes.
But the
Unnecessary.
bells toll, and he's like, oh! And I was like, are bells that
it
loud?
was so cartoon.
When you're that, well, this thing rings through the whole town. You got to remember.
No, I get it, but
So it's
I
think-
don't get it. I've never heard that.
I'm not. It's a genuine question. Are they that loud?
Yes, I
You think
come
you
from
could-
a town.
You
the
don't think
bell
you could withstand
in
the
my
blast
town,
of a bell?
when you're standing right next to it?
No, you don't. The Liberty Bell. Could you?
That's
withstand
not
the
that
blast?
big though. That's not that big.
It's not as big as a bell tower.
It's
No.
also broken.
Okay.
And it's
but-
broken.
So I don't think it's ringing.
I'm
So
curious.
No, but I love the pan like people asking like what was that sound? Because there's a shot that's from inside the clock tower that shows you the mallet hitting the bell like you don't know what the sound of this bell is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's obviously in the clock.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know how bells work.
I
It's
guess
10 p.m.
exactly.
The 80s.
I have a note in here. I just wrote concrete broke because
Yeah.
he's walking on it. That pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have already been broke, you know.
And then I said, "What if the wire missed by a second?" When your time machine is malfunctioning, there's a simple solution
Go on.
to headbutt the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Right. That's all you got to do.
I thought that was common knowledge, but it seems like he didn't know that at this time.
Use
Took
your
him a few
brain.
tries.
I mean, I guess we're going into it with the knowledge of time machines now.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
We know all about the flux capacitor.
That's right.
So after and then the last notes I have are why like after he changes his dad's trajectory. His dad's a fucking big shot.
He's a pimp.
He's a pimp. Why would he have the same house? If he's a fucking loser, why would he have the same house? Why would he have the same amount of kids? Obviously, like I was saying before, why would the fuck would the kids be the same kids?
Yeah, like that exact sperm and egg were able to meet.
dude, like you're talking about not only the exact
timing,
millisecond
that
of
they
fucking
had sex at
the
the same
same
time.
angle.
Yes.
If he decided to switch it up,
And
it could affect
she
it.
waited longer to go pee after.
And you know he's fucking
I mean-
different. You know this version of the dad is fucking
Absolutely.
different.
That's a confident
Absolutely.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
that
for
dick
sure.
is getting
He's
way
fucking
harder.
her now.
Yeah.
She's not fucking him. You know she was fucking him for the first bit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I need kids because I'm 32.
And she's obviously hot. She's really hot. If she was my
skin.
mom, I'd be
Really?
like, "Hey."
I'd have
Just
been like,
kidding, mom.
Doc Brown,
We'd
take a
find
little
you
bit longer
we'd
on that
find
time
you,
machine, bro.
We'd find you on Pornhub.
Nope.
Listen. She's really regular.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Now,
thought she was
The
super
girlfriend is cuter.
no,
You know,
lame.
the
No.
girlfriend. Oh no, I agree. Actually, no way. She's not as hot.
Who?
The girlfriend.
Hotter.
Really?
Okay,
Yeah.
let's
I
hold on.
guess okay. The mom, her demeanor was so off-putting to me, and maybe that's just because I'm
a
a
good point.
girl. But I was just like, to be this like moaning myrtly is really.
What are you talking about?
It worked for me.
want to touch my pussy?
You know what?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
called him Calvin the whole time.
Why do you keep calling me Calvin?
What's on your underwear?
Yeah, that was hot. Dude.
Ew.
I'm
'Cause-
Why
Why was his pants?
It
His
worked.
pants were off. Why?
You got hit by a
"Where
car,
are my
maybe take
pants?"
off
They're
your
like,
pants.
they're across the room.
We gotta
She-
check his dick stats.
She took his pants off.
That's how you check the pulse, I thought.
Yeah, with your mouth around his cock.
Yeah.
Ew.
They didn't know about the fingers on the neck thing. Yeah, there was, and like the memorable quotes of this movie,
I have a fun
roads?
one.
which
Where we're going, we don't need no roads.
literally the last note
That's
that
what
I
we
have.
have the
Yes,
last
that is.
Is that from this movie?
That's yes.
Yes.
I didn't know if.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
funny. My last
Thought
note
it was maybe
is
from a war movie.
Oh, you thought like maybe they were referencing
Yeah.
something. Okay. Yeah.
Doc boner kill because finally Marty comes back in a time
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's gonna have
Oh my
his
God.
lake time with his
And
girlfriend.
he has the sweetest life. He has a better house. His house is better on the inside, at least.
The pickup truck's better.
Yeah.
And he has the pickup truck.
Now, did we ever see the other house?
Yeah.
Like
was
the
kinda
dining
before him.
room. It
He
was
drove.
like dark.
He subconsciously went back to his house and like crashed in his bed, and then woke up.
I'm talking about before.
Yeah, you did kind of like you saw the
The
meeting
peanut
dinner
brittle.
and yeah.
Oh, you're
No,
talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about
interior.
like the exterior.
No,
Oh,
I don't
no.
know if you saw the exterior,
but it was in
you
the
saw
same
the interior.
spot.
A little
Obviously.
bit.
That's what I'm
'Cause
saying.
you
Because
saw
he
the tow
drove.
truck.
He didn't like look up. He drove to a house and then like
True.
crashed.
It must have looked the same on the outside.
Yeah.
True. True. Very true.
And that's it. And then Doc comes. No, that's not it. And then Doc comes crashing in.
Okay.
Morty, we gotta go on a 30 minutes adventure.
Right. From another from another 30 years in the future.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Why?
Toki.
Toki's.
I think somebody's trying to break in. What's the deal? Okay, so here's the thing. We're talking about how like Marty and his siblings look the same as from when he comes back. Okay? So my ride's here. So there's a siren in the back.
Great joke.
That was that joke.
Nice.
Great joke.
Thank you.
Great job.
So
Thought police are coming.
Doc comes in and says, "Marty, I need you." Okay? And then
Hot.
they're like, "Get in the car, we gotta go." And they're like, "What did we ruin in the future?" And all right, now that's not the way I took it, but I do like it that way. Is that on Pornhub too? Like scientists fetish?
You know what? We should look up. I'm gonna look at while you're
Do not
finishing.
use my phone to do that.
Oh, where's my phone? Damn it, I don't have my
I
phone.
don't know. Use her phone. But
Casey, will
why?
you look up
So now,
Back to the Future
here's
porn?
the thing.
And I'll
He
play
goes,
it.
"What did we screw up?"
Back to the cute coocher.
He goes, "What did we screw up?" And then he's like,
Back to
"No,
the
Marty,
future.
it's not you. It's your kids."
Your kid.
So
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
taking them to the future to see his children.
To see Marty's children.
Fap to the future.
I just said that.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's see if I can play some audio from.
No. Come on. I don't want, because we'll get flagged.
No, we won't.
Are you sure?
No.
Well, I don't want to get flagged.
We will get flagged on YouTube, but not on the podcast.
Just put the
app.
E on the.
Ryan, no, it's not.
It's
not.
an explicit.
It's not worth this.
we can always edit it out post production.
That's right. So everybody be quiet.
If there's dialogue.
I mean, what could it be? No one's going to recognize.
That was me.
I was going to say, coming in strong.
Yeah. It just starts mid coitus. All right, I
my
like
God.
it. I like it so far.
He has a dildo on his head.
I believe you.
It's Cock Brown.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's okay. I believe you.
But I didn't even tell you how I know you or
Marty's a
how
girl.
time travel's even possible.
That's hot.
Great. What? I
Ouch.
get it.
My
Great
ears.
future. I mean, I'm a brilliant scientist, motherfucker.
Turn it down.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Turn
tell
my
me why
ears.
you're here.
That's so terrible.
69
69 minutes later.
All right.
Yeah, so
So yeah, that's my entire backstory that quickly gets us to the next point.
okay.
Oh
I need to
boy.
get back
Yeah.
to 1985.
That's right.
Because you want to see the new episode of Family Ties?
Where's the dick?
Right.
God,
This week
this
a
is
special episode
unwatchable.
where Alex loses a friend to drug.
This
addiction.
plot
Why?
is
Where
Why is
are
it-
they?
I literally just went to the middle of this. I
This-
can't believe I didn't
Where's
land
the
on fucking.
sex?
How did I power the sex machine?
Oh, you just add some plutonium. It's
Plutonium.
All right, that's enough for me.
Yo, but did
Yeah.
anybody catch that? Cock Brown?
No.
Yeah,
like Doc
I heard-
Brown?
Yeah, I heard
I
it.
didn't catch that.
Right?
heard it,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's in that, but I'm saying like it was a good
You
one.
should make porns.
I do.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's
Okay.
Cock Brown.
Yo, Doc's dick. Pretty decent.
It's pretty decent cock. So that was all cut out.
Ariel disapproves.
That was entirely
Seen
cut
better.
out. Yeah, so I did, like I said, I loved all the foreshadowing lines of them talking about, like, there was one where I forget who yelled it. It was either Doc or Marty yelled, "Do you have no concept of time?" Come on. I love those little tiny lines like that. The little tiny small lines like that.
Teensy weensy.
All right,
And
well,
that's it. Goodbye.
guys, I think we've obviously missed a bunch of like fun little things. I think.
Well,
I
we
think
should
we
go
could have talked about the
around.
Libyans more.
We should
Yeah.
go around and do what should we rate first and then?
I think we should. Yeah, I think you should. We're gonna go around, and I think we're gonna sum up and give a score, and then after that, we will. No, we have to do what must see first. Must see, and then or pit.
I thought we rated first and then we said.
I don't think so, because if you give a bad rating, then we know.
But
Oh.
that doesn't always mean I could give it a really good
Okay,
rating.
because
but
yes,
say
I
that
wanted to
you don't have
clarify.
to
I
see it.
wanted to clarify this too. That's a good point because a movie can be really terrible and we still say you got to see it.
Yeah, because if it's
So-
so bad,
right.
you have to see it.
So
So okay, rating
whatever
first.
you think.
Let's do rating first.
Okay.
That makes
Okay.
sense. Okay. So I guess I'll start.
Yes.
I think this movie is still to this day very fun to watch. I think it is good.
That is an excellent rating.
Guys,
Poignant.
I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's really good. I would recommend if you haven't seen it. I think you have to.
Well, I don't know. We don't know that yet.
Well, I think you do. I'm going to go
Ryan
ahead and
is
just say
saying
right
yes. You're saying yes to the must see manner.
now. I guess we have to say it all at the same time, don't we?
I
No, with four
I guess
people.
with 4 people it doesn't matter. Yeah, because that would just be like,
Okay, yeah. Yeah. So, yes, I'm saying you must see
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Okay.
I think it has too many references. I think it's influenced too many other things. And
Are you gonna rate it?
I'm gonna give this movie 9 Libyan
Whoa.
RPGs
Wow.
Shit.
out of 10.
a
Never
signs
before
score.
seen.
I have no beef. I have no
Wow.
beef.
All right.
Interesting.
I agree, like that the movie is really fun, and I went into this being like, I am so sick of all these people talking about how amazing this movie is. I'm gonna rip it a new asshole, and then it ripped an asshole inside of me and nested there because it's
Amen.
fine. It's totally yes. I vote yes to the yes see must see the must see
Yes
manner.
to the yes.
yes see to the must see manner. That's a yes.
That's a good
from-
point too. I also did want to hate the movie because I'm
Yeah.
like
Yep.
I'm like,
naturally
ugh.
like, okay, what the fuck's this about?
Yeah, God,
And,
everyone likes it,
and
which is annoying.
it overcame that.
Yeah.
So
Which is great. I think I would still give it an 8.
okay.
An 8 cock browns
okay.
out of 10.
Okay.
We are talking about Back to the Future, not Fap to the Future. Correct?
Either one.
Either one. Okay.
And must see manner. Totes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Should I-
Jesse?
Okay. I agree with literally everything that both of
Cool.
you said.
This is a really interesting podcast.
Yeah, tell me about it. Let's just scrap the beginning, first hour and a half. Yeah, so like I said, I just
that was really good timing.
yeah. Every single scene of this movie I've seen without actually watching the movie. So that is what iconic, that is like epitome
you want,
of
bro.
iconic movie.
Yeah.
That being said, I also would probably go 8 on it. And I definitely think that you must see this movie. It is a
Well, guys,
it is a
That's
must
it.
3 out of 4.
Don't need to talk to Casey.
No, we still will get Casey's
Just
rating,
kidding.
but we might as well just go ahead and.
Well, we don't know
say-
yet because her votes could count for more. So if you just want to say yours first, that we're
I would put it in the must-see manner.
What a
Okay, so
shock.
let's just go ahead and yay! Welcome to the Must See Manor. We'll still hear her
Yes.
review, everybody.
wow. I can't believe we're talking
Yay,
over the
yes.
theme song of
All
Must
right,
See
I'm
Manor.
sorry.
We are,
Okay,
we are.
Casey, go ahead.
But I did not like this movie.
Oh, shit.
I went
Bitch.
into it and being like, I remember loving this movie. I am
Oh
so
my
excited.
God.
And then I was like, this movie was a giant fucking fart.
Oh, my God.
I don't understand the fan base. It was
I
just
did not
kind of
get
like-
that from you this whole time.
It was just
Me
like,
either.
I mean, there were some like
It was just
quirky parts.
mediocre for you?
Well,
Yeah.
the times you were awake.
It didn't do anything for me.
Damn,
But I
girl.
do think that you
throwing
have to
shade.
see it because I mean it is
iconic.
Yeah.
It is iconic. It's just just for your frame of reference.
Yeah.
Because it's parodied in so many things that
Mm-hmm.
you at least need the context.
Yeah. Just didn't
So-
tickle my pickle.
Okay, fair
You
enough.
have a
Wow.
weird, you have
So
a
what
weird
would you
fucking
rate it?
pickle then.
Yeah, what would you rate
4
it?
peanut brittle out of 10.
4. Okay, so below average.
Yeah.
Wow, high standards. I like it.
right.
Curveballs, baby.
Yes.
Did
There
you,
you go.
Did you give a rating?
I did give a number rating, but I did
Oh, okay.
not give a qualifying item
Okay.
of a rate.
It's hard to think
which
of it last second.
I was going to
Amateur.
say DeLoreans.
Okay.
8 DeLoreans.
8 DeLoreans.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Nice, sweet.
9,
simple.
8, 8,
There we
and
go.
4.
4. Jesus.
All right.
Does anybody have any parting words?
Everything
No.
good? Anything in the notes you guys want to throw in at the last minute? No?
Cool. Well, the way that we're going to do it instead of the coin flip is that 1 week I'll choose, and then the next week Casey will choose, and then Ryan, and then Jesse. I mean, it might not be in this order, but it'll basically be
It's
girls
just going to be a rotation.
and then boys.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess it would be like a month. Like the girls have 1 month and the guys have another month.
Right.
Because we're going to be doing every other
Yes.
week
Right.
releases. So
Yes.
So
basically.
this was me and Casey's month. So this was my movie, and the next couple weeks we'll do her movie.
Mm-hmm.
So and then
Which we
and
will
then-
announce on the Instagram.
Yes. So
Unless,
definitely.
do we
tune
want to
in.
do it? Do we want to announce it on this episode?
We
don't know.
can. This
I don't
was
know.
shaking it up.
This is our first
But
podcast
see, at the
meeting.
end of the next one, will we know what the next one is?
Oh yeah.
I'll tell
Yeah.
people.
Well, no.
Okay.
Well, we'll have
So
to know what
do-
to watch for the next
Do we
one.
want to? Let's just announce it on the Instagram.
Yeah, let's just keep it.
We're going to keep it on the Instagram.
Yeah, it's a secret.
So, and remember, we have an email that you can reach us at sayhello@gmail.com. And then we're on all the social bullshit.
Yep.
So reach out to us and rate us and all that cool stuff. And we love you. And this has been
Love you big time.
All right, from
Yes.
all of us at Say Hello, we would like to say
Bye.
goodbye.